Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. I've decided to form a power block, as you can see. I decided to do all of the figuring out what it's going to be beforehand. So this is the Alliance of Democratic States. It is an ideological union, which is one of my favorite forms of power blocks. I'm going to start with ideological truth this time instead of creative legislature. We'll see how that goes. The only thing I really didn't change is the statue here, because I think this statue is really funny. We have our running man here with a sword and a top hat, and I think that's just dandy. So we're going to do that. We set our principle. Let's go ahead and hit the forum button. Yes, many people will be mad. An anti-Ottoman association. How delightful. Now, let's start improving relations with all of the powerful states in Europe so that we don't end up in a situation. Are we rivals with Prussia? No. But I don't want to be enemies with Prussia either. Spain, I think we're rivals with... Yes, we are. I'm okay with that. Hudson's Bay Company I still want to be friends with. All the other candidates are still basically chill with me. Even Columbia District? Even Columbia District. Beautiful. What about Brazil? No contact. Don't have any engagement in their area. Oh, interesting. Brazil lost their war with Graupara. That's curious. Alright, so I just changed governments. I've got the most legitimate government I can possibly have. What's my budget look like? Okay, it's looking fine. Still got Mexican Cession. How long until I can do another war with Mexico? Sorry, I'm just refreshing my memory here. Another 15 months. So partway through 58. Alright, beautiful. Let's get rolling here. Yes, we're building a lot of stuff we need. Now, this revolutionary labor movement is no historical data. There it goes. Alright, I'm hoping this goes down, and then we won't have a problem. Because I would like to not have a problem. I would like things to be non-problemed. I would prefer to be unbeproblemed. In fact, cash flow's looking pretty good. We're building buildings, but not ships at this time. Plenty of cash in the pot. You know what, Ottoman Empire? I would be delighted. Rivalry invitation accepted. I'm going to improve relations with Russia and Austria, though. Just to get them feeling a little bit less bad about me. So that's going to make my anti-Ottoman association very happy, which is going to make my politics a lot easier to manage. Ooh, gold in South Dakota. Very nice. We'll just go ahead and add those gold mines to our... Oh, they're already in there. Alemannic National Awakening. Cool. Shortage of ammunition. Now, why am I still having... Why are my munitions plants still having a hard time? Perhaps I should subsidize them. Not sure. All my buildings are on privatized, so that should make sense. I'm carrying 8 mil in debt, paying a very modest 5k in interest for it, so I'm not particularly concerned about that, particularly as I'm in the black right now. Turkish National Awakening and Huda Vendigar. Well, that's not going to be great for me since the Turks are my rivals, but it's not going to be bad, really. Now, I'm going to just look at my colonial claim situation. I can stake a claim here. Now I have to think about this, because if I stake a colonial claim and start expanding here... That would create a little bit of a weirdness. So what state would I be moving into? Into Alberta. Okay. Do I want to claim an Alberta? If I do that, I'm kind of admittedly pursuing an Alaskan corridor strategy. Let's not do that. Let's not. Let's dial it back. Let's be normal for a minute. Alright, come on, labor movement. Go down. Yeah, they're going down in militancy. Excellent. I'm feeling delighted. Okay, we got some interest in Southern Europe, which is neat. Still got plenty of influence to play with. Not particularly concerned about that. Now, my power block obviously doesn't have many countries in it. It's just me, Liberia, and the Indian Territory. Very slow growth. of mandate progress. We're at number 4, so we only get 2 slots. But that's okay. That's okay. I think I can live with that. So in the meantime, is there anything else I want to do with my laws? I don't think so. I think maybe I want to move away from merchant navy. This pisses off my intelligentsia and my yeoman farmers and my industrialists if I go to capital fleet. Let me just refresh my memory here. I think je ne colle is actually pretty good. Increased construction efficiency for torpedo craft, protected cruisers, armored cruisers, and light cruisers. Pretty high starting ship experience, not as high as capital. Oh no, it's the same as capital. Afro-Antillean mass immigration, cool. From Haiti to Minnesota. Extra naval administration, hiring speed, increased political strength of officers. This one's half the increased political strength of officers, but minus 50%, but minus 10% navy goods cost, which is probably pretty strong. This one doesn't. Okay, so this one is fast, more efficient capital ship construction, and extra prestige for navy power projection, which is quite good. How much is this going to piss off my... Okay, hold on. My yeoman farmers... Okay, so my yeoman farmers are going to be mad. My intelligentsia will probably be fine. But it's the industrialists. My industrialists are marginalized. Very well, capital fleet it is. You know what? It's basically the same people who'd be pissed off about je ne colle and capital fleet. Oh, but I love that navy power projection. Oh, the yeoman farmer is going to be really mad. You know what? We'll stick around for a bit. I want to let the labor movement fall in radical in militancy before I go buck wild with that. I think that's reasonable. I think that's a reasonable approach to things. If I could get IT into my power block. I have a lot of leverage there already. Honduras backs down against Great Britain. Excuse me, what is... Oh, they're already expanding down here. Gosh dang it. Gosh dang it. So I want to get IT into my power block. I want to get a hold of Panama for reasons which should be obvious. I want to build a big canal there later. Flood. Affecting Florida and nearby states. Seems like just Florida. Ugh, tough times. Tough times down in Florida. So, from here... Yeah, so I think we're going to get IT. We're going to get Panama. We'll start getting control of some of these other states. I do eventually want to be set up to oppose Britain in the Caribbean, but I need to be careful about that because Britain is very, very strong right now. And they still have a lot of infamy. We are friends, so they're not going to start any wars with me. And I feel confident in my ability to win against them if they try to, invade, land and invade. But it still creates potential problems further down the line because of Britain and their love of starting a problem. Excellent. From the French Republic to Virginia. Excellent. More Afro-Antillean people living in America is good. Immigration is generally very strong for America. Plus, we got a really strong build for immigration because the... What? Oh, we don't start with the Statue of Liberty? Weird. For some reason, I thought that was built way earlier. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't remember having built it in a previous run, though. That's what's weird about it. I feel like I've never not had it. Well, anyway, I don't need to worry about that. I can look it up. But if the Statue of Liberty was standing in New York in the waters outside New York in 1836, put it in the comments. If it wasn't, put it in the comments. The mob approaches. Belligerent crowds have been getting increasingly provocative when confronted by troops in New Jersey. Hardliners and government are demanding tougher responses, while doves are calling for troops to stand down, as the first hopeful step in de-escalation. A whiff of grape shot saved the day before, and it can be done again. I'm telling you, we need to show strength right now. Strength. Bullets are an admission of weakness. We need to talk. Show them we're not afraid. That's how we'll get them. Disperse the crowds by force is half and half chance of 5% of pops becoming more radical, 5% chance, or revolution progress goes down by 10%, or ordering the troops to stand down, 50-50 chance of revolution progress goes up, or 2% of pops become more loyalist. I can only get loyalists out of the second one, so that's what I'm going to do. And revolution progress went up instead. Whoopsie doodle. I will do the same thing again later. It's hot in here. I'm taking my shirt off. Nobody comment about it. It's not on camera. It didn't really. I could be role playing. Sorry. I'm living in a place that's going through a heat wave right now, and air conditioning is great, but it is. Oh right. Air conditioning can be very nice, but it's also it can't solve extreme heat all the time. All right. Oh, gold mines. Actually, we need better methods running for, and then I think I need more logging in areas where we're not producing hardwood, because softwood is still quite expensive. So I'm going to queue in some of those buildings. Let's swap West Virginia over to softwood production, and we'll expand there too. I recognize I'm putting a lot in the construction queue here. I recognize that, but it's just, I've got to get it done. Now, I've got a lot of bureaucracy to play with. So let's go ahead and increase healthcare, shall we? Shall we? Let me see, 273. I can increase by a lot. Oh, you know what this is? This is because the petite bourgeoisie are happy. And they're mostly happy because of appeasement of political lobbies. So I can't go buck wild with increasing institutions just yet. Because I don't have... Oh, I have insufficient taxation capacity in both New York and Minnesota. That's curious. How short am I in New York? Just a little bit. I can do one... Let's do 2 levels of bureaucracy. And then Minnesota, I'm actually significantly short. Okay. Let's build 4 levels, I think, in Minnesota. And that should be fine. We'll just throw the ones that I already started working on near the top. So now... Okay, alright. So this is the private sector using the... French-American Treaty of Commerce and Navigation is no longer valid. Trade privileges for investment rights. Interesting. Interesting. Hey, France, what happened with that? Huh? But it's still there. Weird. Alright, well, I don't think I need to worry about that. So as you can see, the labor movement is slowly falling in radicalism, in militancy. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm going to give it a little time before I start doing other stuff, because I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm creating a problem here. Now, what is this? This is Papal States versus Piedmont. Papal States is okay, so they're fighting each other for Italian leadership. So, as the sorry, not Piedmont, versus Tuscany. So Tuscany is a wealth voting monarchy. They're going from citizenship to national supremacy. Okay, so there's a solid nationalist. State bureaucratic, hereditary bureaucrats, state religion, censorship, mercantilism. Yeah, okay, so that's reactionary state. And then papal states, much the same, although they're on their way to ethno-state. Yeah, okay, I don't really have a dog in this race. Neither of those is a nation that I would particularly prefer to be under control of more of Italy. Compared to the others. So I think we'll just kind of leave things be for now. Government admins are almost done. Now, do I want to... I think I'm going to throw... I think because wood is still critically expensive. Oh, goodness. Shouldn't have changed up that much. Actually, I think maybe the answer here is I build up Michigan as well. Logging in Michigan as well. And then I think these steel mills... We're gonna reduce their priority, unless, of course, I'm running steel frame buildings. That's why I was increasing the steel supply. Oh, I'm such a dummy. I'm such a fool. I'm a fool. All right, so we're gonna have all this other stuff. We're going to throw the steel mills in kind of wherever we can. We'll just kind of intersperse for a bit. Actually, I think we're going to need to prioritize the steel now that I'm thinking about it and looking at it. I think we're going to need to prioritize the steel because I want to have enough steel to go directly to steel frame construction. That's right. That's why I wasn't building more construction. See, this is what happens when you give it a while before you come back. You give yourself a little bit of a headache. Trying to remember what on earth was going on. Still short in Minnesota? Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Now, I have a little bit of authority to play with. Let's go ahead and put a tax on coffee. That'll improve our cash flow by a little bit. We have been significantly improving cash flow as we build additional gold mines. Now, how much steel capacity have we got? We're currently producing 862. And are our steel mills maximally productive at present? Let's take a quick look. Pretty much, yes. Yeah, they're fully employed. So I am really going to spike the price of steel. So I'm going to need to do this slowly. Now, what does my glass supply look like? Actually, porcelain's looking really good, which is a shocker. And glass is pretty much pretty affordable. Now, I'm also not doing covered markets, but I don't have the ability to do that yet because I don't have steel frame construction, and that's going to have to invariably wait for after I do steel construction before I do that. So I'm going to go to public trams. Just to review, public trams is engine input to produce transport. I think that's correct. I think that's reasonable. And then it's simply a question of getting these steel mills built, which... Yeah, okay, so those government sectors, I still needed them because I'm making significantly more money now. Minnesota, do I have sufficient taxation capacity in you? Still not quite yet, huh? Gosh dang, and these are still fully employed. All right, well, we'll have to build one more. That'll get built pretty quickly. Minnesota, I feel, also needs trade capacity. I think a lot of these western states need trade capacity because I built some amount of trade capacity in the eastern states, but not a lot of these western states because they weren't fully in the country yet. Ooh, I can go after Mexico now. So no problematic alliances. Now, if I go after New Mexico, for return state CB, Hudson's Bay Company could try to fight me. Honduras could try to fight me. El Salvador definitely will. Guatemala and Nicaragua, but importantly, not France. And there's no one else who I think could really make a problem for me. Now, I have the ability to return state all of these states. Do I not? Yes. So I should be able to get them in one war goal. So let's do it. I'm going to force a diplomatic play. Confirm that. I'm going to mobilize my armies. And I'm going to place them directly on the front. I don't think this will be complicated. If Hudson's Bay Company doesn't step in, I shouldn't have a problem. So I'm going to... Let me see. I'm gonna add all my other war goals. So I'm gonna accrue a significant amount of infamy here. Arizona, Utah, and California. Now, do I add these to primary? I don't... I definitely add some of them to primary. I think I do. I think I gotta add them to primary. I gotta not get silly about that. Now, I've got 128 maneuvers. Making a protectorate would, of course, be so much infamy that it's certainly not worth it. Let's go ahead and hit these buttons. Oh, that's barely any additional infamy. I'm barely costing myself anything. All right. Any other war goals I want? I could enforce a treaty. I could get a lot of cash. Actually, that's not that much. Never mind. Force company monopoly, enforce law commitment. Now that's interesting. It's an interesting question. Enforce ship transfer. They don't have any boats. All right. Well, we'll let that be. We'll let that be for now. Let's see what happens. Let's check my mobilization methods before I make sure I don't goof myself up completely here. Okay. Now, if nobody steps in, Mexico's army is total 71 battalions. My army is 50. So I think I'll be able to basically run wild. Let me see. Let's set you to... Yeah, we'll do port bombardment again. And there's steel frame construction. Alright, beautiful. So, we're going to go slow here. Let's start with just a few states. That'll be fine. That's 6 out of 26 sectors. Rights in the Declaration of Bytown is no longer valid. Neither of the two countries is subject without political autonomy. Ah, okay. Full Bay people immigrating. So this means that Hudson's Bay Company has been turned into a colony, which means they can no longer grant me investment rights, which is what it is. Now that means they're not... Okay, none of these countries are going to step in here, which is just fine with me. So I feel reasonably confident. I think... The question is... I've got 48 battalions of conscripts in the Army of Observation that I could raise. I think I will do just to ensure things go smooth. Oscar Pyle, a reactionary Luddite and the Yeoman Farmers, has appeared in the country, an agitator. Very well. I'm still subvening the import of silk, which seems right. I've now made a lot of things extremely expensive in my customs union. Right now, we're just increasing the supply of steel to accommodate the steel frame construction that we're doing. It's going to be my last chance to get more out of Mexico. Humiliate be good? I don't think so. Revoke claim? Mexico backs down. Wow. I am glad I made these all primary. Okay, so let's start incorporating these states. I should expect the Mexican Session Journal entry to pop at the end of the week. And there we go. We have wrested control of the American Southwest from the illegitimate clutches of Mexico. The United States of America now stretches from the Atlantic to the Pacific. O beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. This was our destiny. California, Nevada, and Utah become Yankee homelands. Arizona and New Mexico become Dixie homelands. Indeed. Alright, so that's going to significantly speed incorporation. Yeah, there we go. Breton mass immigration. Things are going pretty bad in France, must be. France, are you having a problem with your standard of living or something? Yeah, they are. They really are. Something's going really bad. Something's broken really bad in the French Republic. Health system's up to 3. Very nice. Very, very good. Now, I have inherited a small Mexican army. We'll just go ahead and disband this army here. Now, I am going to need a Pacific fleet. So let's go ahead and build one. Create fleet. Pacific coast. Recruit admiral. Let's do... Zachary Crocker is a basic entrepreneur. Okay, that doesn't really help as a military leader. As a romantic, increase vulnerability, reduce offense, reduce morale loss. That seems quite bad. What about this fellow? Benedict Jones, dockyard organizer. Reserved. As commander, reduce morale loss, reduce critical chance. That doesn't seem that bad. Sterling Van Dorn, Pete Bourgeoisie guy. Let me see. He's also a dockyard organizer. Hedonist means reduce supply efficiency and increase supply consumption. That's actually really important navally, so I'm not going to pick that. I'm going to pick Benedict Jones instead. We're going to build some cruisers. We'll just use the new model cruisers that I made in 36. I'll go ahead and build 10 of them, and then we're going to need some capital ships as well. We'll build the 38 models. We'll build 5 for now, and then we'll queue in another 5 cruisers. I'm certainly going to need more naval administration to support them, but we'll deal with that later. Now the question is, I've been chipping away at my national debt, and that's gone pretty well. Do I want to continue ship construction? I think the answer is yes. So now I'm significantly in the red compared to where I was before, but, oh, and this navy can come back home. Ah, here, we've got a change region option again, so that's good. Station them back in the bloc. The Contagious Diseases Act. The yeoman farmers in Pennsylvania, led by Stephen Torbert, are demanding that the government take a stance on prostitution. They request the enforcement of laws that allow police to detain women suspected of being prostitutes and lock hospitals on the grounds that they spread venereal disease. These fallen women are an affront to moral propriety. They must be contained and treated, lest they spread their sinful diseases across the nation. Enacted Contagious Diseases Act, -2 standard of living for the lower strata in Pennsylvania for 20 year. Yeoman farmers become slightly happier for 5 years. Or, these laws are inhumane, yeoman farmers unhappy. I'm going to have to go with the second one. I think it should be obvious why. Now, steel supply is still pretty rough. I could convert a few more construction sectors, and I will, to get myself a little bit more construction capacity as I continue to expand my steel supply. My investment pool is draining. It's a very small amount of unrealized taxes. Where am I getting that from? Ah, California, Arizona, and Nevada, because those areas are full of unincorporated, are bureaucratically unincorporated. They're full of... I was going to say they're full of tax capacity shortage, but that's not actually true. Their tax capacity is fine. It's they're not fully incorporated. Now, I do need to map the western frontier so that I can purchase southern Columbia, which is Washington, Oregon, and Idaho from British Columbia, from the Columbia District here. So, we'll get started on that. Send out an expedition to map the unknown geography of the western frontier. On our very doorstep is a land bursting with promise. We should seize that promise while we can. If not, we will be overtaken by eagles and lions, and heaven forbid, snails. I know the person for the job. Choosing a leader. A group of strong candidates have expressed their interest in leading the expedition. However, this is not a decision we should make lightly. The first to arrive was a well-dressed, fresh-faced, almost young gentleman, whose keenness to impress was only matched by his willingness to oblige. His smile, as wide as one can imagine, was fashionably put together. "If I may," he politely said, when presenting his credentials. Rear Admiral David Farragut, Commodore Benedict Jones, or Brigadier General Earl Geddes. He's a petit bourgeois liberal. Benedict Jones is this is the guy we just hired for the Pacific Fleet. Yeah, the Pacific Fleet's not built yet. It's a good time. Let's send him. Alright, so we got an expedition rolling here, and I'm going to read this to you. Benedict Jones' expedition has reached... Oh, this is different now. Oh, cool. Alright, beautiful. So, it's reached Utah. Progress 0 out of 8. Peril 0 out of 8. An expedition to map out the unknown regions and geography of the North American Western frontier. Will complete if the expedition reaches a progress of 8 or more. If completed, 50% chance of we get the Oregon Trail event, 50% chance the Great Salt Lake event, and then we lose the line item in our budget. We'll fail if peril reaches 8 or more. A new quest. As the expedition advances, the prioritization of tasks increases in importance, and Benedict Jones has started a log in which he keeps track of what every man must do. Document the new species of plants and flowers. Draw them. Draw the animals. Document them too. One of our men has the hand and talent of an artist, though his difficulties with the anatomy have already been questioned by a few members. Regardless, he's been of great help during this expedition. Most of the others are sent hunting, as our journey leaves behind the mapped villages and roads that others followed before us. It is just us now, us and the wild. Hunting must be prioritized, or it's imperative that we find a settlement. Now, it's been so long since I've done these events that I don't remember how they go. So I'm going to prioritize hunting, and we're going to see what happens. That'll pop off in 3 days. Hunting. The expedition men who we had sent hunting have found an area by the riverbank filled with every animal that they had encountered during their travel. The question is, which one to hunt? The forest was a dream of greenness and bears. Bears, wild boars, wolves, deer, and bison, hare, foxes, and even goats. It was filled with their sounds and movement, like a living book. Nature ran free and unscathed, and the feeling of letting oneself lose was a significant temptation. Back to the gardens of paradise. We cannot afford any risks. Go for a small animal. 33% chance of minor peril, 66% chance of minor progress. Or we need food, go for the big game. 25% chance of minor peril, 25% chance of peril, 50% chance of progress. I'm just going to go with the first one. And we got some progress. So we're at 1 of 8 progress now. All right, beautiful. So this, I'm glad we're getting this now, because I think this used to be very, very unclear. It wasn't that unclear, but you needed to know what you were looking at in the old way it presented itself. But these days it's much clearer. All right, so first set of steel mills is coming online now. There it goes. Mountain sighted. Wonderful. A member of the expedition has suggested that we detour to climb a mountain and claim it in the name of the United States of America. One of the expedition members has his eyes locked on the mountain. It's a good risk, my friend, he says. I don't think anyone has claimed this one yet, you see. Imagine how they'd pay us back home, all for this insignificant rock. Snow slides down the mountainside, melted like threads of gray cotton. Excellent idea. A 66% chance of our expedition reaches the summit, 33% chance it triggers the event mountainside issues, or we can't spare the time, gets minor progress with no cost. I'm going to pick the first one. Mountainside issues. While climbing the mountain, a rockfall struck a member of the expedition, rendering them unconscious. The group was forced to turn back. As the rocks tumbled down the mountain, snow cascading in their wake, blood dripped over the ledge where a struck expeditionary lay. The steam escaping his spilt lips were the only sign of life from the poor boy. With a pang of guilt, Benedict Jones threw the boy over his shoulders and marched down the mountainside. A shame. Expedition gains peril, and continues. All right, so we got 3 peril. Okay, that's not good. That's not great. I beefed that one. I think it was reasonable, but I still wish it could have gone better. Okay, so I founded a Pacific fleet, and now new ships are coming all the way from the East Coast around the Cape of Good Hope. No, that's not the... I think the Cape of Good Hope is this one. Yeah, this is the Cape of Good Hope. So is this Cape Horn? I think this is Cape Horn. Alright. We're getting inundated with events. Days of Darkness. An eruption of unprecedented records has utterly destroyed the lives of many Dutch East Indies people in the state of West Java. The explosion of the Krakatoa could be heard from hundreds of miles away, and anything that had the ill fate of surrounding the island was immediately devastated. And the day was made night. Those enormous waterfalls of fire cascading down the mountainside. A black cloud, gargantuan. All the birds have abandoned this field. Years from now, I will sit by the fireplace, and the light will disturb me no more. We shall help with all we have. Improves relations with the Dutch East Indies. Costs a paltry amount of money, $2,700 per week, for 2 years. Or nature is a capricious creature, deteriorates relations. I'm gonna say we help with all we have. We'll be a little bit humanitarian. Bear sighted. A large grizzly bear has been sighted up ahead. We could hang back and wait for it to leave, or we could hunt it. Here the bears grow lean and famished. That does not make it any better. The keen eyes, the craving jaws, the drops of saliva dripping down the yellowed fangs. They're always so alert here, so vigilant. Oh, but it isn't only them. Only for them that... Let me try that one again. Oh, but it isn't only for them that food is scarce around these mountains. We shall hunt it. 66% chance of a successful bear hunt. 33% chance of bear hunt failure. Or better to be safe. 30% chance the bear attacks. 70% chance the expedition continues. I'm going to say hunt it. I think that's reasonable. Successful bear hunt. Wonderful. The expedition has successfully hunted and killed the grizzly bear. We stalked it carefully, but relentlessly. A few good shots were enough to put it down. It's times like these where I wish my manservant wasn't as good a shot as he is. I could have used a trophy like that for my boudoir. Failure would have been unbearable. Har, har, har. Minor progress. Obviously, we're costing ourselves a lot of cash, and by we, I mean me. I'm costing myself a lot of cash, and the people of the United States a lot of cash, but that's okay. That's the name of the game. Low organization of the Third Fleet because it's about to join the Second Fleet. Let's go ahead and rename these fleets. First of all, the United States Navy will rename the Atlantic Fleet. And the Second American Fleet, we will rename the Pacific Fleet. Simple. We'll have some sort of two-ocean navy. When the Earth opened its mouth, event in Utah. Making their way through the mountains, the expedition finds a dangerous gorge. Their guide advises them to take a longer, more secure route instead of crossing it. At the mauvish beginnings of dawn, the shadows of the mountains become lilac imprints, carvings on the rocks that mimic their own figures as miniatures displayed in a museum. The gorge gets sharper and narrower, the mouth of the Earth directly pointed at us. Some hungers you cannot satiate. Our guide knows better, slight delay, or we have no time to waste. 50% chance of peril, 50% chance of minor progress. I'm just going to say our guide knows better. That's reasonable. A small delay is not a problem. We're still in Utah. Haven't made much progress yet. Haven't gotten any free progress yet. We've got all events so far, but that's okay. Anti-Ottoman Society offers opportunity. The Anti-Ottoman Society has offered us an opportunity to acquire trade privileges from Russia. Their proposal, if accepted, is intended to counter Ottoman interests. It was a veiled sort of aggression, one which could in theory appeal to both ardent jingoists and those who preferred to mitigate losses. It would force the enemy to respond, possibly drive them towards a reckless confrontation in response to a seemingly benign maneuver. A plan to fight the Ottoman Empire to the last Russian, one minister remarked. The representative flushed. He'd practiced responses along both lines, but none of them quite fit. We would be happy to pursue this, or this is not in our interests. I don't particularly desire trade privileges with Russia, but am I free trade maxing? Seems not. I'm not gonna. Not in our interests. Sorry, Anti-Ottoman Association. I simply don't desire free trade with Russia that much. Interestingly, Alaska is a British subject now, which is curious. Not rightly sure what to make of that. Students rallied to the American supremacist movement. A group of students attending the university in Ohio have arranged a demonstration in support of the American supremacist movement. The display has inspired other students to join the cause. The lecture hall was barren. There were always one or two students missing for illnesses, travel, or family occasions, but nothing of this scale. There were 3 or 4 students per row, each thrown into sharp contrast by the empty seats to their sides. It was material for a lecture of its own, he thought. Like a heap of sand whose grains had blown away one after another until its form suddenly changed. So followed what had once been a class. The youth will lead the United States of America into the future. Stronger American supremacist movement. Reduce university throughput in Ohio, but increase universal pop political strength. Or they ought to focus on their studies. 5% of academics in Ohio become more radical. But half as much of the other modifiers and no increase to the American supremacist movement. And the American supremacist movement is not very strong or active right now. I'm going to pick the second one, though, because I don't necessarily wish them to be. I'm very comfortable here at cultural exclusion, and I don't want things to go different. So the labor movement is actually increasing in strength now, though. I'm not rightly sure what to make of that. I don't know why this... Maybe it only shows the past year. It only shows the past year here. So I don't know why they're increasing, but it doesn't... It seems like they're increasing by a lot. Like, they went down to 8%, and now they're up to 57. But now that I've looked at it, they're going down again. So, good for me. I solved the problem. Oh, so good at video games. Oh, I claim credit for no reason. Supply network usage fees. That's fascinating. I wonder if that's a way that trade leagues make piles and piles of cash. That would be interesting. That would be very, very interesting. So how's the steel supply now? Steel has gone down in price by a little bit. I think I'm going to convert a few more construction sectors. Spain has formed the Congress of Toledo. Toledo, I'm not sure. Alright, so we got about 12 more levels to be converted already. We got a significantly higher construction capacity now. And Swollen River. Alright. The expedition members come across a river that is bursting at the banks. They can try to raft across, which would be quick but dangerous. Alternatively, they could search for a more suitable place to cross, though this could take some time. A brief landscape captured in the moment that found us. The bold gray is the prospective river, trapped in a cage of violence and impetus. These wandering trees, carried away, decapitated. Sometimes some type of animal, otherwise alone. Onward, 66% chance of safe crossing, 33% chance of capsized raft, or better to be safe, the expedition continues. I've been going for the 66% chance events. I'll keep doing it. Safe crossing. The expedition successfully crossed the river with little to no difficulty. With such an easy crossing, we will make great strides today. Why, I dare say we could have made many more if we loaded the rafts that bit more. Are you touched in the head, son? We're lucky the waters ought to be so gentle today. Let's get the rafts out before the waters stop being so kind. Good news. Progress. Ooh, 2 progress. Excellent. Now, I'd love to get peril down just a little bit. I think I'll try to find a settlement next time I get the opportunity. So you're here. Okay, alright. And we got fleets sailing around. Maybe I need to build shipyards on the west coast. That way ships will be created there, and that'll be nice. You know, there's a part of me that wonders, because I don't remember the labor movement being really low in activism. There's a part of me that wonders if somehow that rise there got just sort of generated in the moment. I don't know how or why that would happen, but there's a thought in my head about it that I don't know. It would be a weird bug if that were the case. Actually, that's probably significant anthropomorphizing. That's probably dumb on my part. Dumb thinking on my part. All right, so we've nearly finished with our steel mills. How are we doing with other stuff? Porcelain and glass remain quite expensive. We're actually importing significant amounts of glass right now. So really, I think what that says is I need more glassworks. Currently got glassworks in quite a few different states. Let's build up Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Ohio. We'll continue a decentralized glass production model. That's going to significantly increase our glass supply, which is going to be very good. We'll do those after half the logging camps. Then maybe we'll build more steel mills, I'm not sure. A stop on the way. With low temperatures in the mountains, okay, they're still in Utah. With low temperatures in the mountains, the expedition finds a perfect meadow to take shelter, near the river and far enough from any other village to not disturb their land. An encampment using cottage wood lumber cut from the riverbanks is suggested by Benedict Jones. It was an unusually cold month when the range of mountains announced their unmerciful judgment before us. As the sun started to set, a glistening light penetrated the canopy of trees, making the shadows tremble and the raindrops cover the brown, almost dead grass. Our expedition was tired, and that tiredness of the soul, far from home and close to the ocean, became much more tangible when the last rays illuminated their swollen faces. This is the perfect place to build a fort. We'll reduce the peril of the current expedition, slightly delay it. Or we can't afford this delay, gain progress in peril. I'm going to do the first one. So that puts our peril down to 2 and down to 1 and delays us. Now here's the thing about building forts. When you build forts, it creates basically an opportunity for a future expedition to rest at the fort, which reduces its peril. Ooh, Persia's beginning to expand eastward. Things are looking pretty good for you, Persia, I will say. Let's be better friends. Now we're neutral with Austria and Russia. I'm doing very well with Britain. Come on. I'm very well with France. I think I don't need to improve these too much more, because I want to be conscientious, because I think if you become too close with their enemies, countries will become suspicious of you. A new quest. I've already read this flavor text. Once again, I can say hunting must be prioritized, or it's imperative that we find a settlement. I'm going to say it's imperative we find a settlement. We did hunting last time, and I need to refresh my memory of what a settlement does. Peaceful intentions. A few days after being sent on a reconnaissance mission, members of the expedition came back announcing that they have found a native settlement, in which the group can find aid. As the days come and go, our landscape offers minimal changes. These mountains are sharper, these are older, more eroded. Now the river runs on this side, now it runs on the other side, but the chain of circumstances stays the same. Our men came back with great news and announced that another native settlement was found, so we prepared our gifts, needles and mirrors, and medals and ribbons, and all accessories that looked rich and beautiful. We had already repeated the ritual 100 times, but every one felt equally important. We needed their help. We should try to barter with them, reduce the peril of the current expedition, slightly delay it, or is there anyone here who can guide us? Minor progress. I'm going to pick the second one. That's going to put us at 5 progress out of 8, and we get a native guide. That will be very good later on. I've got an evangelical Luddite in the country. Oh, but he's not in charge of the party. He's just over there. So that's fine. When's our next election? I should know this. Oh, it's going to be at the end of this year, I think. Yeah, December of 1816. Very cool. So we'll see what comes of the election. I feel like things have gone pretty well since we put the Republican Party in charge. Doesn't look like anything's... Oh, no, the yeoman farmers are going to leave the Republican Party. They're traditionalists, so they're probably going to go with the Democrats. We'll see what becomes of that when the election cycle starts, which is going to be pretty soon. The United States has expanded significantly. All right, perfect. So now we're working on those glassworks. A circular expedition. The expedition to map the West has been traveling in circles. Benedict Jones can either pick a random direction and push on, or wait for night to fall and use the stars as a guide. I recognized the markings that we'd left on a triangular-shaped rock. We kept walking as I decided not to mention them, but for the whispers among the members and their unsettling eyes, I was sure that they also knew. We walked through the forest like autumn leaves, broken branches, uncared for stray animals, those kids in fairy tales sent to the woods by evil stepmothers. A circle is a circle is a circle. Push on, 66% chance of hopelessly lost, 33% chance of back on track. Or wait for nightfall, minor peril. I'm going to wait for nightfall. That's going to increase our peril to 2. We got 5 progress, so I'm not super concerned about that. Now, the acquisition of Alaska. So we can make an offer on Alaska. If we're not a subject, all of these, any state in Alaska is not decentralized. Relations to the USA are greater than 0. And at least one of these, a hostile country with a rank higher than ours has an interest, or the country has a principal debt of greater than 0. All right, so let's go ahead and start improving relations with Alaska. Snow on the ground. Some members of the expedition have expressed concern that the weather is turning against them. They insist on hunkering down to avoid the worst of it. The layers of snow kept growing like untreated tumors. A huge white, a great white, and the reflection of it making our eyes sore and hurt. If we don't stop now, maybe we won't be able to stop anymore. One of the men shivers as he rubs his arms. Lips as pale as our shadow over the snow. He doesn't say a word. Press on. 66% chance of survive the snow, 40% chance of lost in the snow. Heed their warning, the expedition is slightly delayed. I'm at 5 out of 8. I'm gonna accept the delay. I think that's fine. Alright, snow clears. After a while, the snow has subsided enough to push on. It's a good thing we didn't try to go out in that. It would have been a disaster. Great news, minor progress. So that puts us at 6 out of 8 progress. Yeah, I'm not too worried about snow in April, to be honest. Not in. Well, I guess Utah. I don't know how mild the weather is in Utah, but I would imagine reasonably mild. Alright, so that puts us at 6 progress, 2 peril, so I'm feeling pretty confident. I gotta not get too greedy, but I think it's gonna be... My chances of beefing it are pretty low at this point. A circular expedition once again. So I just read the flavor text for this. I'm gonna wait for... I'm gonna wait for Nightfall again. If we get it again, I think I'll risk it for the biscuit, because we've only got to make 2 more progress, but I don't know. I doubt we'll get a circular expedition event 3 times in a row. Insufficient crew in my fleets. Alright, that's fine. Let's see how insufficient it is. Civic fleet. Yeah, okay, alright. So we need a little bit more naval administration, but only a little bit. So let's go ahead and build that. Naval administration, where? Oh, we have a little bit in New Mexico. That's interesting. And let's build a bit in California as well. And that should be fine. Event. Smoke streams. Vivid red sunsets were reported for several months across the country. Fire engines were even called out in Virginia to quench the apparent conflagration. Many artists and academics have expressed their interest in this phenomenon. A blue and sometimes green moon, its inflammable luminescence igniting the night with unnatural intensity. White moonbeams shining through the clouds emerge purple and sometimes also blue, green. Lavender suns, noctilucent clouds, a distasteful fascination. I think I've been pronouncing noctilucent wrong a lot as I read this event over the years, but that's okay. Only a painting could capture such beauty, 15% Arts Academy throughput increase in Virginia, or academics must ensure we're prepared for the next eruption. Virginia gets increased university building throughput, and volcanic eruptions will be less damaging in the future. I'm going to pick that second one, for reasons which I think should be obvious. So we're now in an election cycle. The Democratic Party has got significant momentum compared to the Republicans, who've lost a bunch of momentum. This is because the... Oh, interesting. So the industrialists have joined the Republican Party. The yeoman farmers have become apolitical. Very interesting. Commander commends Civic Coalition. Commodore Jones has made public statements in support of the Republican Party, bringing into question the political neutrality of the military. It's my duty to defend the nation and its interests. Politics is as much a part of war as battles and logistics are. I don't see the problem with doing my duty and doing what I can to make sure those who are best fit to protect the nation end up being the ones in charge. He can say what he wants, extra momentum for the Republicans, or reprimand him, good soldiers don't give orders, they take them, which radicalizes 5% of officer props in the United States. Or, if Benedict Jones likes politics so much he ought to get more involved, he becomes the leader of the intelligentsia. Ooh, making him the leader of the intelligentsia would be interesting, except they're actually already led by a market liberal. So that maybe doesn't really change anything, unless this guy has... He has kidney stones, he's imperious, and he's an experienced political orator. Yeah, I don't think I necessarily want to replace that guy. Let me get you his name. Let me do a little bit of role-playing here. Cassius Winthrop. He's not the current president. The current president is Alexander Green. Anyway, let's just let him say what he wants. 20% momentum for the Republicans is just fine. We can dance with the one who brung us, and that'll be fine. Ew, breech-loading artillery. Wonderful. Just wonderful. Yes. Upgrade all units. So that's brought the parties a little bit closer. So that's interesting. Looks like the voting population has gone way down. Has standard of living turned downward? I guess it has. We got significantly reduced voter turnout. 16% voter turnout this time. Bananas. How could this have happened? An unplanned debate. Whilst carrying out work in support of the Republican Party in Kansas, Martin von Ehrenheim has come across Oscar Pyle, representing the Democratic Party. A fiery debate has broken out between them. Straightening his impressive coattails, he stepped forward, regarding his newfound opponent with a look of begrudging respect. I will have you know. Martin von Ehrenheim is far more convincing. Increased momentum for the Republicans, reduced momentum for the Democrats. Or the better arguments belong to Oscar Pyle. Increased momentum for the Democrats, reduced momentum for the Republicans. I'm going to go with the first one. Bring them at least a little bit closer to even. And so it did. So it looks like in the current... It looks like we've sort of resumed post-war politics. With their pre-war politics, with the Democrats basically holding a slight majority on a basic level. A new quest. As the expedition advances, the prioritization... Oh, right. I've read this a bunch of times. Let's find a settlement. Peaceful intentions event, same as before. And we can get a guide for minor progress, which we'll take. That'll put us at 7 out of 8. So now we're in Idaho. So that should be... So that'll get us done pretty soon. So this time we'll get either the Oregon Trail or the Great Salt Lake. And that'll be nice. Do we need any more naval administration? I don't... No, we actually are going to need more naval administration. So let's cue that in. Oh, I have naval fortifications now. Let's go to reinforced. So where else do I need naval admin? Let's put some naval admin in New York. And we'll put a couple levels each in New Jersey, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. And that'll be fine. That should give us more than enough capacity to raise the necessary sailors for all of our needs. The miracle of life. The expedition is waken up in the middle of the night. Inhuman screams come from one of the tents, and a female voice cries, "Baby." The miracle of life. How less of a miracle it was, and how much of a torture it seemed when looking at that poor woman giving birth. The screams couldn't be stopped for at least 2 more hours, and all of our scarce medicines were allocated to such terrifying labor. To what extent they seem to work, I must confess my hopes are low, and that I wish this woman a simpler life after this Calvary. So we're just refilling my water. Here, always stay hydrated. When you're playing a lot of video games, it's important to stay hydrated. We'll take care of the baby. Expedition slightly delayed, or it's best for them both to go back to a village, get minor progress. I'm actually going to pick the second one. Normally I would pick the first one, because having a baby really improves the Peaceful Intentions event. But minor progress finishes the expedition, so let's go ahead and do that. Another in Oregon. The Oregon Trail. After a long and arduous journey, the expedition has finally come to an end. The expedition has managed to map the entire length of the Oregon Trail. A newly drawn map has been laid out on the back of a wooden wagon. The ink blinks, still wet, and its shining curves follow the just-discovered trails as tributaries of a river. A young boy comes bearing a cup of tea, quiet, demure, curious. He tries to look at the map, but his education stops him. He leaves the tea on the table and walks away quietly. His dad got lost in these mountains, a member says. Good thing we've got them all mapped now. Wonderful news. Benedict Jones becomes an explorer, and we get a prestige bonus. So that's very good. The Oregon border dispute completed. The Oregon Treaty. Great Britain has agreed to our reasonable terms and has ceded control of southern Columbia, Oregon, and Idaho to the United States of America. The present treaty shall be ratified by the United States of America by and with the advice and consent of the Senate thereof, and the ramifications shall be exchanged at London at the expiration of 6 months from the date hereof, or sooner, if possible. A most amicable agreement. Idaho becomes a Yankee homeland. Columbia District loses their claim on Idaho. United States of America gains a claim on Idaho. USA becomes the owner of Idaho. Southern Columbia and Oregon both become owned by me and become Yankee homelands. And of course, Southern Columbia should be renamed Washington. And it is. Alright, so we'll get incorporating these territories. Actually, we can't incorporate this one, but we can finish colonizing here. We are actually already colonizing there. And there we go. Alright, so that should go very quickly. Last Native American nation here is the Panaquati people. The nation of the Panaquati people, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And overly enthusiastic partisans. Supporters of the Democratic Party have gone beyond simply campaigning for their own party, harassing and sometimes physically attacking opposing partisans. I'm a simple party man, that's all. I know who I like and I know who I don't like. And I know I want my people to win and their people to lose. Crack down on Democratic Party activities, reduce momentum for the Democrats, or let the Democratic Party partisans continue unmolested. Weaker and saltier petite bourgeoisie. I'm going to go with the first one. We're going to keep the current party in power to the greatest extent possible. We're getting closer to even, which is good from my perspective. Still building a significant amount of supply ships, but I think we're going to need them because we're going to be engaging in a lot of naval adventures. Speaking of which, New Grenada. New Grenada has 13 battalions. Let's take a quick look. The United States Marine Corps has 10 Marines, 5 artillery, and 5 cavalry. The United States Atlantic Fleet has carriage capacity for 15 Marines and 27 other units. So I think I'm going to increase the size of the United States Marine Corps by quite a bit. I'm going to throw 20 more units of Marines in here, and 10 more units of Marines in here to bring the total up to 20. And then we'll do... I think we'll do 5 more artillery, and that'll be all. And we should be able to carry that much, no problem. We're up to a credit of 9 mil, but the time of Alexander Green has ended. Winfield Scott is the new president of the United States of America. So unfortunately, we're in an unstable government with the Republicans in charge. That's unfortunate. Yeah, just too high in ideological incompatibility. So we're going to move it over to the Democrats. So what can we do differently here? I can still get off of Merchant Navy if I want to. Anything else I could change? Could go to public health insurance, which would piss off the industrialists, but shouldn't be too hard. The industrialists, I believe, are pretty happy overall with the regime. Let me see. I could go to poor laws. I don't think I want to do that right now immediately. But it's good to know. It's good to know. Alright, so we'll leave things where they are for now. So my petite bourgeoisie and intelligentsia are much weaker now, although my industrialists are stronger. And my southern planters aren't... Actually, none of these parties seem particularly strong, so I guess really the answer is that... It's your boy! We have a new agitator. This man here, Joshua Norton. A charismatic, honorable, and ambitious, enlightened royalist. So they like monarchy and social monarchy. They like multiculturalism. They like protected speech. They like women's suffrage, and they like compulsory primary education. So this is going to be interesting. I don't have the petite bourgeoisie in power right now, so I can't put him in charge of that party. But it would be really fun. This guy is a big weirdo, and I love him. He who would be king. A resident of the California region, Joshua Norton has declared himself an emperor. He has begun issuing his own decrees, and people have printed currency with his likeness. At the peremptory request and desire of a large majority of the citizens of these United States, I, Joshua Norton, formerly of Algoa Bay, Cape of Good Hope, and now for the last 9 years and 10 months past of San Francisco, California, declare and proclaim myself Emperor of these United States. Let him proclaim. It keeps the people laughing. Joshua Norton gets straight the spirit of San Francisco, extra popularity, increased interest-group political strength. 2% of pops in California become more loyalist. Or a foreign head of state cannot be allowed to walk free. He's exiled. Diplomatic catalyst triggered between us and Great Britain. Is he English? He is English. Interesting. Let him proclaim. Genuinely, I don't know if there's an event chain that can make him president and then subsequently king of the United States of America. But if so, that would be extremely funny, and I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it. It might not be maximally, it might not be optimal, but I think I'm going to do it. Now, how much am I spending on construction goods? About $50K a week. So once I finish out with my current My current situation will probably be fine. I am going to do an invasion of New Grenada just to snag Panama. Let's do some napkin math and see. Would anyone try to stop me here? Not really. Denmark, yes. Chile, yes. 18% chance they say yes. And just let me steal what I want to steal. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see how things go. Tagalog National Awakening in Luzon. I thought I heard another event popping off, but maybe not. Now, our finances should be improving as we get these states incorporated. Although I guess there's just not that much taxation yet because the populations of these areas are pretty low. Disease outbreak in Kansas, yeah. Pretty decent population in Washington and Idaho. Pretty low in California and all that. Now, is there a journal entry that I need to complete still? Oh, I still need to map the American Western Frontier. Right, I need to finish that. Do I want to do that right now? Maybe yes. Burning ashes. Due to the drop in temperature caused by the volcanic eruption, all the crops of Nebraska have been destroyed in the subsequent disease outbreak, and now the farmers have come begging for help. No food at home, sir. Not a single root to be saved. Children ask questions, sir. The sky's always dark, always red. They're hungry and afraid, Mr. President, and so am I. We can send them some food. Costs a pile of cash. Minus 7% agriculture and plantations throughput in Missouri, Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska. Our states with farms or plantations will experience major crop failures. Crop failure will also affect the rest of the world. Or there's nothing we can do. Okay, so it's minus 10% or minus 7% agriculture throughput. That's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to pay for it. We'll take the minus 10%. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. It'll be so fine. It'll be fine as heck. You won't even notice. Alright, I'm going to stop improving relations with a bunch of countries in Eastern Europe now. I don't think I need it. Persia will stay with. They seem like good sorts. Not just because I've played them recently and had a lot of fun. It's not because of that. It's for normal, pragmatic reasons. I need more explosives. I need more ammunition. I need more hardwood. Gosh dang it, I need more hardwood. Oh, you know what? I need to reset production methods in these areas. And then I need to build some more. I keep saying I'm going to stop building new stuff, but I need more resources. Look at this. I'm importing half the hardwood that I need for my hardwood needs. I got the ironclad. Wonderful. That's going to matter in a second. So, let's grab a farm, a wood location and go to hardwood production. And that should balance wood prices a little bit better. Okay, so wood has not really gone up in price. Does hardwood go down? I don't think so. All right, let's go hardwood maxing here. We'll just go to full balanced wood and hardwood production, and that has really dramatically dropped the price of hardwood. But we're okay. We're at a reasonable balance, and there's still hardwood being imported, so there's still plenty of space for output growth. So that's good. That tells me we're in a good spot with that. Glass we're doing all right. Porcelain is starting to fall in price, although we're still exporting quite a bit of it. So I can safely increase my glass output. Let's throw an import tariff on art. Should I... No, I should expand explosives production. That's what I should do. I should expand explosives production. Actually, I have very few explosives factories. Let's put another couple of explosives factories. Let me see, right now we're all in Pennsylvania. Let's put a couple in Indiana. Okay. I clicked and then selected the ongoing construction project. That's what happened. Alright, so at this stage, my Marine Corps should be increased in size. And it's getting there. It's getting there. Once we hit 20... Actually, it'll be fine. We'll be able to get there. New Grenada. I desire Panama. Still nobody I'm concerned about interested in stepping in, which is just fine. Alright, they said no. Not a problem. Not a problem at all, in fact. So, I will mobilize the United States Marine Corps. And pretty soon we'll send the Marines. Now, if I wish to make New Grenada a protectorate, I can't do that. Presumably because I don't have sufficient involvement in their region, which is... I just looked at it. Anyway, it's not in this... In northern... Gran Colombia? Gran Colombia. Yeah, the Andes is down here. This is Gran Colombia. Okay, so how can I get more involvement in Gran Colombia? Well, I guess I have some options over here. Could regime change them. That would be cool. Let me see. What are they got rolling? They're a landed voting presidential republic. So I'd be separating church and state. It doesn't seem like a war goal I would pursue. Don't worry, New Grenada. I'll be back. Alright, so what else needs to be built? I do need more explosives. I need more glass. I certainly need more glass. So, we'll just go ahead and build a few more levels of glassworks in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Denmark sides with New Grenada. Well, that's interesting. Denmark, how could you? Do you have a fleet? You do. Okay, Denmark has a fleet. All right, that's interesting. So we'll see what becomes of that. I don't fancy the strength of their fleet against mine right now. Now, here's a question. I don't pay anything in tolls, but no one's charging tolls for the Oresund crossing, so I don't need to concern myself with that. So what could I do in terms of war goals? Now I can conquer the Danish West Indies. I would like to conquer the Danish West Indies. So if I conquer the Danish West Indies, that's like one island down here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it's just this island here. I don't even know the name of it. If I do that, will that help me? It will give me a front with the British West Indies. Will it give me a front with Puerto Rico? I don't think it will. Let's not worry about it. I do not wish to worry about it. In fact, I shall completely ignore it. I shall reverse concern myself with it. What's going on here? El Salvador and Costa Rica are shooting at each other. Now that's interesting. El Salvador versus Costa Rica. Oh, weird. Well, we'll see what happens. Ooh, gold in Arizona. Wonderful. Okay. So I could get a make protectorate war goal against El Salvador. Or it's San Salvador is the name of the state. El Salvador is the name of the country. I could do that. No one seems particularly inclined to side with them. So maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. And maybe I will invade them with my Marine Corps. Or maybe I'll break off a small amount of Marine Corps and take the Pacific Fleet down there to invade them with a small amount of the Marine Corps. Now, they have one battalion in their army. Do they? No, they have a significantly larger army than that. So, and again, no one seems particularly inclined to stand against El Salvador, but I could get myself a protectorate, and that would be pretty cool. could simply conquer the state. Now, Britain is making inroads over here. Britain's already got a hold of Honduras. So I need to be careful over here, because I don't want to piss off the Brits. Because they got a lot of fleets. And I'm not yet ready to challenge them on the ocean. Britain has a really significant fleet. I have a much smaller fleet than they do for now. But still, I think I'm going to get involved in this. I'm going to wait until New Grenada... I'm going to wait until the New Grenada thing is... No, you know what? I'm going to get in right now. What's a little infamy between friends? Now I'm involved. So, I think I'll take the Army of Observation, which needs a general. Let's go with Longstreet. Mobilize them. We'll send them over here to California. And we'll naval invade. We'll prepare to naval invade. Alright, so we're going to be in a two-front war, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. The countries typically win two-front wars. It just helps them keep more motivated. Delicious. 2 arms. Visayan National League. Cool. Alright, so, Marine Corps, led an invasion of Panama using the Atlantic Fleet. Okay, so 27 out of 35 battalions. Okay, maybe I beefed the math, or maybe I just wasn't paying sufficient attention. This is the Pacific Fleet. Okay, curious. Alright, I've misunderstood the math here somewhere. Because this should be 15 battalions of Marines plus 27 battalions of regular troops. I have 20 battalions of Marines and 15 battalions of other troops. And I think Marines should be able to be carried in regular battalions' carriage capacity. But maybe they can't be, and maybe that's my error here. No, because it says 27 out of 35 battalions. Okay, well, that's curious. But we'll see what happens. Okay. Alright, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I should still have more than enough strength to come in with this army. El Salvador backs down. Lovely. And I think that means that they don't become my subject, actually. Which is fine. Let's be better friends. I want to be better friends with all of you. So that I can conquer you more effectively. Very, very good. Let's want to be better friends with IT. Hello? IT wants to join the Alliance of Democratic States. You know what? I would be delighted with that. I would be delighted to have IT in the power block. That's just perfect. Alright. Their civilizing mission. So now that I'm finished with my... now that I've only got one war and I'm feeling very confident about it, I'm going to go ahead and complete the... and set off another expedition. Oh no, I don't need to anymore. I did it. I got the Oregon Trail. Okay, alright, never mind. We're good to go. I still can't make an offer on Alaska. That's probably going to stay the way it is. Alright. So, let's see how this battle goes. So I guess I can mobilize the Army of Observation. Condemn slavery. Our rival Spain continues to practice slavery. We could easily condemn them on the world stage for this. The fact that this sick, disgusting, and depraved practice is allowed to continue anywhere in the world is a slight against humanity itself. We must condemn the practice strongly and publicly as soon as possible. We must condemn it. We lose some influence, but they lose a bunch of prestige. Or we don't want to upset them. Intelligentsia mad. I'm going to pick the first one. I think that's reasonable. What are the Southern planters mad about? They hate census suffrage. They hate separation of church and state. They hate peasant proprietorship. Gosh dang it. Those Southern planters, stop planting in the South. Gosh. Feeling very silly. Discovery of rubber in the Grain Coast. Ooh, the rubber wars are beginning. Now, is Costa Rica... Costa Rica is independent, so I could make them my protectorate next. And maybe our erstwhile allies in war could become our subjects in peace. But we'll see. I think once we finish this war, I think I'll try to make inroads over here. Start by improving relations with some of these nations. We'll see. Now, Venezuela... Come on. These countries have pretty small economies. Now that I've got Civilizing Mission, I should be able to go ahead and snag the canal here. Let me just hit this button and see if they're okay with it. Okay, they're not. All right, I need to do a little bit more. I need to do a little bit more war first. It shouldn't be too long. Let me see how much war support are they losing right now? Not that much. Still, it'll only just be a few weeks. All right, so I'm building more glassworks. That's reasonable. That's where I want to be. $1 million in the investment pool, which is just fine. Still have a debt of about $10 million. I'm still building ships for the Pacific Fleet. Oh, right. Heck. Let's put these ships out of here. Because I need to build myself a new ship design. Okay, I got two options here. I've got an early ironclad or a monitor. So right away, monitors got significantly lower attack and defense. But the early ironclad has, it looks like, significantly smaller penalties against torpedo boat destroyers, and torpedo boats compared to the monitor. So the monitor is like an anti-light ship. Monitor's got significantly lower visibility as well. Can I see base construction cost? I think maintenance is a good signpost for that. Let me see. Significantly higher overall stats in the early ironclad, but it looks like the monitor has a much lower visibility among a lot of other things, which makes sense, right? Because monitors ride really low. So, let's create ourselves a new template. So this is our monitor here. 12 iron versus 20 iron. Completely reasonable here. More guns. That's significantly increased artillery input. I am going to need to go very far afield with these. Oh, but the twin screw compound engine costs so many more engines. That's very expensive. I am going to do the stowage increase. That's all. It's just groceries. I don't need to worry about that. The only improvement I can add is advanced explosives, so I will do that. Oh, interesting. Okay, so monitors are actually really slow. Okay, scratch that. What about the ironclad? Okay, the ironclad does have a significantly better overall speed, which is good. Now my current templates show obsolete. This has a speed of 10.5. All right, so a monitor is just really not increasing my speed. Nevertheless, I would like to be building up-to-date ships. So This was going to be for the Pacific Fleet. Let's build some early ironclads. Template, early ironclad. Yeah, I think that still makes sense. I think this still makes sense. This, such a big increase in engines. Wait a minute. Hold on. 14 base speed. Hold on. Let me just make sure that I'm not just completely goofing myself. Okay, so no. So the monitor is okay. All right. It's only slightly less fast. Nevertheless, small differences in speed mean a lot over a long period. So I think I'm gonna add that in. I can do expanded sick bay. Liquor and opium. I don't know my own source of opium. Extra naval invasion efficiency. I don't know what invasion efficiency means. Let's do fire suppression to make them tougher. So we'll create this. We'll add 2 of these. And then, under cruisers, let's add an iron frigate. So I don't need... I think I am going to increase the stowage. I think that just makes sense. Thin armor plating will go to partial iron belt. So this is going to add a steel input. Ooh, I don't know that I want to add a steel input for these. Eventually, it'll be a completely reasonable for me to add a steel input. Extra speed, not going to matter. So artillery, we'll leave that be. So we're just going with increased stowage. Modification, I could do large cannonades. I could do patrol boats. Let's do advanced explosives. I don't think blockade strength is all that in a bag of chips. So we'll go ahead and do that, and I'll just go ahead and add 5 of these new iron frigates to the construction queue. Now, Atlantic Fleet. Atlantic Fleet, I think I am going to add an ironclad template. And we'll do fire suppression for them as well. Wait. Hold on. I made the same one twice. Okay, hold on. I made this mistake before. I'm not going to make it again. Sorry. I'm learning in real time here. Alright. We're going to go to the other ironclad. Yes, okay, we're good. I'm going to go to the other ironclad. And I'm going to produce 2 of them. And then I'm going to go to cruisers. I'm going to go to iron frigate. I'm going to go to the other iron frigate, the one I just created. And I'm going to produce 5 of them. Did I produce 5 of them? No, that doesn't do that. Shift click doesn't... Okay, shift click doesn't do that for ships. That's fine. We'll just do 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, so that says it's in there, but it's not implemented yet. And then for the Atlantic Fleet, we're going to build modern ironclads. We're going to do 3. And then for cruisers, we're just going to go buck wild. We'll do like 10. Alright, there we go. That's not a fleet. This is a fleet. Alright. My apologies. I know that was probably insufferable to watch, but it is what it is. You gotta... I'm mostly out here playing as America to learn this system. Colonization of Ohio is complete. Excellent. So I should have a new... Oh, I can... I can do this even before I've got a hold of the place. Talk about jumping the gun. But, in fact, maybe we will survey the Panama Isthmus once we've got enough government admin to build it, to do it. So I have shortages of taxation capacity, actually in quite a few areas. Minnesota, Iowa, Arizona, and Ohio all have shortages, the largest one in Arizona. So, Minnesota... Ohio. What were the others? Iowa. Actually need 2 sectors in Iowa. And then Arizona, I'm quite short. No, I'm not. What was the other one? Oh, that's just the incorporation modifier. Alright, so no problem at all. Pennsylvania, I need a little. Ohio, I need a little. Did I already queue one in Ohio? I believe I did. Yes. Pennsylvania, 1 more. That should probably get me there in terms of taxation capacity. Let's throw these glassworks at the bottom of the queue for now, because these will get built really fast. I've got a level 1 construction sector somewhere over here. Yes, here in Washington. I'm just going to increase that to level 2, because I like having even numbers. Alright, New Grenada, I don't want to fight you any longer than I have to. Give me Panama. Beautiful. So, now, as soon as I've got the capacity, I'll just go ahead and start it now. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Oh, I can't map the Western frontier when I'm in a war. That's what happened. Alright, easy peasy. Populating the Americas. The United States of America is a vast and fortunate land, though it is sparsely populated. We must look beyond the seas, particularly to troubled Europe, for potential settlers to work our fields and factories. The federal government will encourage European immigration, and it will not restrict, limit, or burden with any taxes the entrance into American territory of foreigners who come with the goal of working the land, improving the industries, and teaching the sciences and the arts. Give me your poor, your huddled, your tired, your huddled masses. Adds the Promote European Migration button in the Populating the Americas journal entry. Every incorporated state in Western America gets a 25% migration attraction bonus, entitled Coming to America, a very fun movie. Or We're Doing Fine on Our Own removes the Populating the Americas journal entry. I'm going to pick the first one. That's probably not a surprise to anyone. And do we hit this button right away? So this costs us 100 authority and 25% influence, but it starts a mass migration to our nation and triggers the event Come to the United States of America. Interesting. Before I do this, let me hit that survey button. So once this survey finishes, we'll be able to build ourselves a Panama Canal, and that'll be nice. I'm just going to go ahead and mark that. Now, populating the American West. I need a total target population of this is current population is counting zeros here is 11 million, 11 and a third million. Target population is 19 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, is 19 million. Do I hit this button right away? I'm pretty good on influence. It would cost me a little bit of a budget shortfall. 6K. It's not that bad. I'll wait for now. I'm still building a little bit more governance capacity. I may need even more to cover for the canal survey, so we'll see about that. If I build up and I finish surveying this canal, I should be able to form a Panama Canal Company, and that would be very nice. Now, do I have the ability to form another company? I don't. I've only got 2. United States Steel and Metalworks is doing poorly. They're actually going down in prosperity, which I don't love. Give them rights to steel mills. I don't know. I'm leery of that these days. What if I give William Cramp and Sons trade rights? Maybe that'll help them build trade centers, and that'll make them more productive. Alright, gold depleted in Nevada. That's very good for us, because that means gold mine capacity away. And building gold mines is very, very good. Now, why are we short on construction efficiency? Because of the Great Basin Desert. Alright, well, I'm once again going to continue to pay for constructions that I can't afford. How much am I spending on nationally owned building levels? Way too many. 91 bureaucracy. Abominable. Unbelievable. Let me see. I own a lot of stuff where? 17 levels in France, 14 levels in the Dutch sphere, 2 levels in Liberia, 1 in the HBC. Interesting. I do like this song a lot. Now, Costa Rica. What if we were better friends? Denmark might try to stop me again. New Grenada might try to stop me. Nicaragua might try to stop me, but Great Britain will not. 2 infamy to make you a protectorate. Temptation is extremely high. I think I'm going to do it. And they said yes. Lovely. Oh, that's excellent. That's so very good. And I'm still improving relations with them. Wonderful. All right, so this country needs more population. It needs some industry is what it needs. All right, so we got coal, we got wood. Let's build a little bit of logging. What does my market need? My market imports a lot of coffee. Do we import all our tobacco as well? No. We're a net tobacco exporter. Sugar. Do we grow our own sugar? We largely do not. So, let's go ahead. We'll build 1 level of maize farms because we don't want starvation to be a factor here. Then we'll sugar max, and then we'll get a little bit of paper, a little bit of art production. I think we can delay the gold mines, and then I want to delay the logging camps until the other stuff is built. Or we're gonna build the logging camps first, then we're gonna build the paper mills, then we're gonna build the arts academies. So they'll fully own their own production chain. Not they'll fully own it, I'll own it, but it'll be in the same country, and that'll be perfect. Lovely. Oh, I'm delighted. I'm delighted. Relations are bad, but they'll be better soon. Winfield Scott has passed away. It appears Asa Wally is our new president of the United States. We are in a legitimate government. Ooh, interesting. I could get myself a legitimate government by bringing the Republicans into it. That's exciting. Let's do it. A coalition of the Democrats and the Republicans. Lovely. The evangelicals are going to leave the Democratic Party. The industrialists are going to leave the Republican Party. And we're going to see... And the trade unions are going to join the Republicans. So that's going to be curious. We're going to see what comes of that. I think we'll have an agrarian party. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, Nicaragua, we're still improving relations. Great Britain, relations are still good. Good and continuing to improve. New Grenada is quite belligerent, but we'll be better friends later. I got 7 infamy. Not too worried about that. France, things could still be better, so we'll improve relations with them as well. Now I've got 100 authority to play with. Let's hit this promote new immigration button. So starts a North German mass immigration from Hanover. Tempted by generous offers of land and work, North German people from Hanover have begun to migrate to Nevada. Silver linings in every cloud, vast tracts of fertile land, fields wanting workers, factories needing strong arms. The United States of America encourages all European immigrants to begin a new life. No taxes, tariffs, or other financial burdens upon arrival. Enough work for everyone. Welcome to the United States of America. This lasts for 5 years. So, how's my labor movement doing? They're still at 42. hiked a little bit recently, but they're doing okay. Now, where am I in the prestige scales? 563. We're very distant behind Great Britain, who's the #1 world power at 1369. So I can't do much to really get over that lip right now, but there will be a time when I can. Now I think I've got quite an ambitious construction plan actually in progress already. So let's leave that be for now. Before I do this, how much infrastructure is actually available here? Only 7. Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and build a railway first. These trade centers need to be higher up. I do want to build the maize farms. And I'll build 1 sugar plant. Then we'll do the trade centers. We'll do a 2nd sugar plant. And we'll do 1 logging camp. And we're going to see what the infrastructure situation looks like here in Costa Rica. Now, how am I doing in terms of steel frame construction? Glass remains expensive. Hardwood remains expensive. Steel is still pretty expensive. So I do need to continue to increase that. I need a little bit more governance capacity, which I can build in Wisconsin and Minnesota. So go ahead and build that. I'll throw this railway up at the top here. That's more important and urgent than the other stuff. And the reason it's more important and urgent is because I want to take up this this infrastructural capacity in Costa Rica as soon as I can. And in order to do that, I have to have this railway already available when the time comes. This is not an America takes over a country just to steal the resources. We're going to get those resources, no question about that. But we also want to build up native industry and generally, you know, make things better. A few years ago, just a few years ago, they were being, torpedo boats. They were going to be conquered by El Salvador. Now they're going to have a fully functioning economy, and in not too long, we'll start changing up their politics as well. Looking at this. Oh no, they're a census suffrage presidential republic. They're doing pretty well politics-wise. Yeah, they got interventionism, mercantilism, censorship. Yeah, actually, no. I don't think I need to do any changes to the politics here. Things here are going great. Things here are going great. Lovely. Now, obviously, they're a minor power. They're an insignificant power, so they're not exactly increasing the growth of my power block yet. Yeah, I'm only getting points from ranking. Ooh, Zeckler National Awakening in northern Transylvania. That's exciting. Cohesion is 82. Power block member with the lowest relations, Costa Rica, and we're improving that. Alright, so that's fine. That's fine. I'm also adding a little bit of trade capacity. In my experience, states need trade capacity. It's not even a question of like they need to be able to bring in to import and export the stuff they need. Now Panama, I think we also want to build a little bit of an economy in. So let's build at least a logging camp to supply the paper mills that exist there with the necessary paper to function. Panama Isthmus Survey. Wonderful. Our survey of the Panama Isthmus is complete. We've confirmed that it will be possible to construct a canal linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. A faster route between the Atlantic and Pacific has long been sought, but now we shall make it ourselves. We shall build the canal. Let's go ahead and cue that right in. Panama Canal. We'll build a level of naval fortification there as well, just to make sure we're good. So, how do I want to... Right away, I think the secondaries for Costa Rica go to the bottom of the queue. And I think I want to put the Panama Canal at the top of the queue, and I think at this point, I'm just going to shift to full steel frame construction. And we'll see what that changes. Okay, Spain's embargoing me. Alright, beautiful. So I got 2 full construction lines, and that's just fine. This is just a tiny bit of overflow. Don't even worry about it. Panama has a hideous construction efficiency penalty. Why? From high turmoil. Well, that's a shame. So, unfortunately, how long would it take to incorporate Panama? 8 years. So unfortunately, we're going to need to put some authority into this situation. We're going to repeal our consumption tax on coffee, and we're going to put in... Oh my goodness, my consumption tax on coffee wasn't even costing me... Hold on, this is bananas. Plus 100 from the United States of America. Oh my goodness, I'm spending way too much authority on that stuff. Alright, oh, this was a mistake. This was a huge mistake. I'm a fool I am. I can get a little bit of extra authority for paying the government workers more. This is hideously inefficient, my nerds. Just so dumb. But I need it. We gotta put suppression in there because we gotta be able to build this canal. Wow, that hardly helped at all. Brutal. Okay, 248 weeks. That's 5 years. I'm going to be building this canal for 5 years. That's okay. That's okay. I'm America. I got plenty of construction capacity. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's so fine. It's fine. North German mass immigration. Wonderful. How is my investment pool doing? It's doing just fine. Speaking of places that are just fine, my investment pool. It's just fine. It's not going to take 5 years to build a canal. It's great. Everything's going great. I don't care what anyone else says. Everything's going fine. So fine. All right, I'm being silly. Oh, a minute. I'm being a little goofy. What the? Okay. All right. Yes, we're where we want to be with ship construction. So, now do I want to do any more expansion overseas? I've got a truce with New Grenada. If I send my Atlantic fleet to project power here, that should give me some involvement in this area. Now I could go after Venezuela. Could have sworn I was currently improving. I am currently improving. What flag are you right now? Oh, this is Venezuela's flag. So that's interesting. What set of policies are you? You're an oligarchic presidential republic. Sounds like you need to be an American protectorate, is what that sounds like to me. If I reclaim even a little bit more authority, I could use I could put in a road maintenance decree, which would directly increase construction efficiency, but that just seems... I'm spending so much. I mean, the Panama Canal is going to be very, very worthwhile long term. This went up. It went up a little bit. Because of my extra bureaucracy. It's going to be good, though. It's going to be good. I'm spending a lot of money increasing stuff in Costa Rica right now, but it's going to be really good otherwise. Then I'm going to have a lot of gold. Oh, it's going to be so good. Everything's fine. Nobody can say it's not fine. How's that railway going? Railway's almost done. Or no, the railway's done. All right. So how much construction capacity have we got? How much infrastructure we got? We got plenty. All right. Beautiful. We got that first sugar plant done. Let's throw this one in at the top to get the others. We'll get the logging camps done, and then we'll get the paper mill, and that'll be good. And overall, we'll be. I know these are not great jobs, but it's better for the country to have an economy. Rubber in Costa Rica. Ooh, that's exciting. Oh, 12 capacity. Wonderful. See, look at this. Look at this. GDP's way up. GDP's way up since the Americans, since I took over. Since I took over the country, the GDP is up. How's the standard of living? You know, it hasn't improved much, but you know, it's above minimum expected. It's gone up a little bit. It's gonna go up more when there's more jobs. Let me see. 1 mil peasants. Population is increasing. They're getting migration. They were getting migration a second ago, but migration attraction's pretty high. Migration attraction's pretty high. They got a greener grasses campaign running. They got good population growth. So yeah, things are looking up in Costa Rica. Soon they're going to have a lot of jobs available, and that's going to be very good for the overall country, I think. Especially those paper mill jobs. Those are like industrial jobs. Those are real good jobs. Yeah. I'm feeling good about myself, even if I acted unethically. Amazing. It's amazing what a little bit of the power of rationalization. Ooh, Serbian mass immigration. Cool. Alright. So. Alright, now I've got a lot of involvement in Gran Colombia. So, if I made Venezuela a protectorate. First, what kind of an army have they got? 13 battalions, not at all a problem for me. If I made them a protectorate, Brazil might try to stop me. Okay. Mexico certainly would. A thing that I could certainly punish Mexico for. So potentially be a larger scale war. Oh, Brazil took over Grão-Pará. Well, that's a shame. I wish they hadn't done that. Alright, and Brazil has a significant army. Pedro de Bragança is still in charge around here. Let's go ahead and wait. Okay, they're going to legacy slavery. Maybe I will improve relations. Are you a major, Brazil? You're a major, but you're not a great power. You're just a major. I'm spending less and less in interest, but I sure got a lot of. Okay, the British are going after El Salvador. All right, so I think I mean to move on Nicaragua. Actually, I think that's what I need to do. Obligation from Carta expiring. Carta. Oh, can I... Okay, I'm going to slow things down. Can I remember where Carta is? I'm making a fool of myself. I'm making a fool of myself. Oh my goodness. I've got an illegitimate government. What's going on here? Get out of here, Republicans. Alright. Sorry. Alright, so it looks like the Democrats are holding at high momentum right now. Republicans have got the same groups. Democrats have got the same groups. Republicans are at just the intelligentsia and trade unions. We're frightfully weak at this stage. Curious. Carta's over here. That's where they are. This country. Carta? We're fine. We're chill. It's so cool. We're so chill. All right. Oh, I gotta drink water. All right. So now that we got those arts academy jobs, law and order. Pointing to the rampant turmoil from radical activities in Oregon, the Democratic Party has campaigned on the platform of more policing. The people seem to think the flimsiest of political pretexts can be used to justify the chaos we see in Oregon. If they have not thought of a pretext yet, our opponents are more than happy to provide them with it. We will not. We will send a strong message to those who would make a mockery of American law that they cannot escape justice. This wound has been allowed to fester for too long. Extra momentum to the Democratic Party. Or the key to preventing crime is to prevent poverty. Extra momentum to the Republicans. Now, the Republicans are projected to get 31% of the vote. The Democrats, 68%, with just about equal momentum. So I think I'm going to hand this one to the Democrats. That's increased their momentum to -10, which is reasonable. I go after Venezuela, I'll potentially need to fight Brazil. But if I can improve relations with Brazil, we'll see how things go from there. If they decide to stop me, we'll rival them. For now, though, I gotta snag Nicaragua. 13.2 to conquer. Spain potentially steps in. Mexico almost assuredly does. I don't fancy Spain's ability to come after me at this stage. 24 ships, yeah, I'm not really worried. Let's take a quick run at populations here. Costa Rica is a Central American nation, as is Nicaragua, I believe. Yep. State religion Catholicism, state religion Catholicism. So, population. 60% Central American, 40% Corsican. And then Nicaragua, 98% Central American, 1.5% Mestizo. So yeah, this is territory I could definitely safely incorporate into Costa Rica with no problems. So, let's take over the country, shall we? But Great Britain will not stop me. Venezuela might try. Haiti might try. That's curious. But we'll do it. Alright, lovely. I don't think I'm going to be worried about this. We'll mobilize the Marine Corps. And we will simply send them in when the time comes. I don't think I need to bring Costa Rica into this. No available war goals, which is fine. Our great nation. Seeking to turn the tide of nationalism in favor of the Republican Party, Joshua Norton held a patriotic speech in one of Washington's parks. Nationalism is often assumed and is the often assumed and unearned superiority of one's place of birth. It is easily mistaken for something approaching the lines of patriotism, but a sharp eye can spot the difference. A sharper mind knows how to use it as leverage. Truly a hero for the people, extra momentum for the Republican Party, or we should ensure the laws are properly secured, half as much momentum, but extra prestige and radical movement pop attraction. How strong is my radical movement? I don't have one. I'm just going to hit that first button. I don't necessarily want a radical movement at this stage. That's hardly going to threaten the Democratic lead at present. Again, voter turnout is going to be is really historically low. I don't rightly know what to... Oh, we've got falling standard of living. That's so curious. I wonder what's made that happen. That's so very curious. I am spending so much. My nerds, I'm spending so much. Production and agitation. And there's enlistment offices. Excellent. In collaboration with the Democratic Party, Oscar Pyle has secured a deal for cheap and quickly distributed pamphlets in support of the party. The interior of the carriage held a pleasant surprise. A crate of several thousand pamphlets printed on an industrial scale, each with the instructions of the voting process, and a cheaply copied logo of the Democratic Party. They made a hefty weight, and he hoped would turn out to be an equally sized benefit. Bury our opponents in a sea of paper, extra momentum for the Democrats, or these connections could be used later. Half as much momentum, but Oscar Pyle becomes ambitious. He's a Yankee Luddite. I don't want him to be ambitious. We'll just take the momentum, please. More momentum, please. So again, my goal here is I'm going to incorporate Nicaragua into Costa Rica. The people of Nicaragua are going to be completely able to be fully accepted under Costa Rican law, so that shouldn't affect anything. That shouldn't affect them negatively at all. Hardly at all. My Pacific fleet continues to increase in size. I'm going to go to half and half naval ship and supply ship construction because I want to focus on increasing the size of my fleet. The popularity contest. The eyes of the electorate have turned to the candidates that seek to acquire a position at the head of the government. As the election approaches, voters debate who would provide the best leadership for the United States of America. I quite like Colfax, mused one of the men at the bar. I couldn't say what it is I agree with him on, but I think he has a good head on his shoulders. His neighbor spoke up. Enough to look past the company he keeps? Well, why not? God knows you could say the same of any of us. Nobody's better to handle a fool than his friend. And when Colfax is the man of the hour, he becomes more popular and extra momentum for the Democrats. Or a term of Cassius Winthrop is what this country needs. He becomes more popular and extra momentum for the Republicans. I'm going to pick the first one. How much longer have I got populating the American West? 3 more years. Alright. Again, it was probably a mistake. How's construction efficiency of this here canal? It's still pretty bad. I can't really... I could do better about that, but it would be extremely inconvenient to do so. Alright, so here's the war cave. Now, I'm going to let the week turn over. Just want to get a visual to how much supply capacity. Okay, so the United States Marine Corps is using about 300 supply ships worth of capacity, doing what they're doing. So we'll plan an invasion of Nicaragua using the Atlantic Fleet. This shouldn't take too long. They're going to cross Costa Rica. A little bit odd, but that's okay, I guess. And there's our front. So this war should be finished pretty soon. Once the war ends... Ooh. Walls and tweet-based. Someone has organized a nationwide postering campaign on behalf of the labor market. In some cities, there's scarcely a wall left unmarked by pro-interventionism displays. Sunday, gathering on interventionism. Meetings at all community houses, 7 to 8 p.m. Show your support for the just cause of interventionism. Refreshments available at 7:30 for all attendees. Subscribe to the local advocate for further information. They'll wash away with the rain, or order these walls cleared at once. The wash away with the rain makes the labor movement stronger, or order the walls clean makes the trade unions weaker. I'm going to go with the second one. They're not participating politically at present. We'll see if that continues as time goes by and techs increase. Ooh, 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 ooh. The acquisition of Alaska. It's possible. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. Haha, yes. So, let's make an offer for Alaska. Great Britain finds herself unable to protect its Northern American colony of Alaska and appears willing to sell the territory to us for an affordable sum. The representative of the United States of America agrees to pay at the Treasury of Washington to the diplomatic representative or other agent of Her Majesty the Queen of all Great Britain $7,200,000 in gold. Make the necessary arrangements. We'll pay $3 million over the course of 1 year. Or we can't afford such an expense right now. I'm going to make the necessary arrangements. I want to buy that territory. Great Britain has agreed to our terms. A treaty for the purchase of Alaska has been drafted. Tomorrow, if you like, I'll come to the department and we can enter upon the treaty. Oh, why wait until tomorrow, Mr. Stokel? Let's make the treaty tonight. Alright, so that's going to cost us a barrel full of cash, but we've got ourselves a state up here. I'm going to establish a colony. Do I need to increase... I'm not really using my bureaucratic capacity for anything, so I could increase colonial affairs. Let's increase law enforcement, though. I think that's going to be better. I'm currently in a righteous government, and I think I can stay that way. Don't want to do that. Got some options. I think we're not... Oh, right. I was going to look at going to Junipal. Why can't I do... Oh, because I haven't researched Junipal yet. I've got torpedo boats, but not Junipal. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. Alright. We're naval invading Nicaragua right now. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's what we're doing. And there's the acquisition of Alaska completed. Perfect. So... and there's our colony. Now I'm just going to keep my eye on... Oh, wow. Okay, that's going pretty quickly. Alright, so that should be fine. Supporting the Spanish workers. We'll support the workers in Spain, boosting the power of their trade unions. Maybe we believe in the international cause of the working man. Maybe we don't. In the end, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that the Spanish trade unions get stronger. An excellent idea, they get stronger, or this would be ill-advised, they get weaker. What do Spanish politics look like? Yeah, let's make their trade unions stronger. Why don't we just hurl a wrench right in the works? So we are winning these battles. We've got 27% occupation. Ooh, gold in Colorado. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. Ha ha ha. Yes. I've already queued in the mines. Alright, it was gold fields that got queued in, not mines. Alright. So we are building those slowly. A shining example. The yeoman farmers regard the French Republic as a strong model for their values. With proper leadership, the United States of America should follow by example. They seek to join the American-French Association. I have hope for the future of our country. We must not abandon our values. We must give the American-French Association a wholehearted endorsement. Some of the yeoman farmers reflected on the speaker's words. How could joining the American-French Association be used in their favor? Some members argued the French Republic will prove to be a reliable ally in the future. Excellent. We have much to learn from the French Republic. So they join. So the yeoman farmers join the French-American Association and they get a little bit stronger. Or what's so great about the French Republic? Appeasement reduced by -1. Yeoman farmers get pissed off. 5% of Protestant clergymen in the United States become more radical. I'm just going to pick the first one. I think it's fine if they join the association. I'm perfectly happy to have an American-French Association. So our additional expenses for buying Alaska, I almost said for buying Canada. There's a little Freudian slip for you. Are quite large at present. Now, I noticed the Marine Corps went to Panama instead of going back to the United States. And there's the Nothing Personnel Kid achievement going off as we conquer Nicaragua. Rubber rush. Rubber has been successfully grown in Nicaragua. The fragile nature of these trees and their difficult-to-meet conditions make this achievement exceptionally important. The Amazonian rubber monopoly is finally over. Those beautiful trees have decided to grow elsewhere after multiple unsuccessful attempts, those stubborn little things, and now it is our duty to end those greedy tycoons' empires. Bring everyone to Nicaragua and get to work. Rubber rush for 10 years, increased state construction efficiency, increased migration attraction, increased rubber plantations throughput. Which is just fine. I am just going to hand over the state directly to Costa Rica. So we'll make Costa Rica much larger. And I believe at this stage we can decrease their autonomy. We certainly can. But do I need to? I don't. I genuinely, I don't think I need to. That's fine. They're still an insignificant power, but let's let a week turn over and see how that affects their GDP. See, it's higher. There you go. Lovely. I've got a Nicaraguan army that I can dispense with. I've got an Alaskan army that just contains lancers that I can dispense with. Columbia District, improving relations, wonderful. I've got a 4th American army. Right, you're the Marine Corps. You're the rest of the Marine Corps. All right, so Marine Corps, why don't you rebase back to New York? Now, I'm still spending quite a bit of cash. I've got a lot of... I've got really a lot of debt. Ooh, there's the steam donkey, which I'm hardly paying for because my petite bourgeoisie are making that easier. But even so, I should really dial it back in terms of my my overall spending, because my spending is quite high. Standard of living just spiked again. Not sure what that's about, but it's made my politics a lot easier to manage. Where have I got construction sectors? Oh, Alaska. Oh, of course. Well, we'll reset production methods there then. And in fact, I will increase the size of the construction sector. No, I'm going to put a new one in. Ooh, Pan-Nationals. Excellent. Let's put a construction sector in Tennessee, shall we? And there's gantry cranes. Alright, so... now I can produce steamships. This is very good. Okay. Actually, I'm out of... one thing at a time. So, first, our... oh, I didn't normalize production methods over there in Panama. That's okay. First, shipyards get producing steamships. Artillery foundries get producing breech loaders. Arts academies get producing realist art. Let's go to bourgeois patronage. Let's go to independent artists. Urban centers. Do we go to covered markets? I don't think so. I don't think we got the glass. Then rural. Oh, we've got coffee plantations now. Most efficient process is wet with mechanical pulping and mechanical drying. So we'll do that. That's actually very good. Where are they? They're in Panama. I think I need to produce more of my own coffee. We'll go to steam-powered whalers. We'll go to steam trawlers for fishing wharves. They think they're going to be they think they're inefficient, but they're going to be massively more efficient in a minute. How much of my own coffee am I? How much coffee am I importing? Almost all of it. Perfect. Let's go ahead and how much coffee am I producing? 129. Mostly from a bunch of different places. I got some in Costa Rica and Nicaragua. Wait, Costa Rica has coffee plantation production? They do. Oh, interesting. And I've got capacity in Nicaragua for them, which is also good. Maybe we'll just build a few here, and then we'll build a few in Nicaragua. And does Nicaragua also have sugar capacity? They do. So maybe we'll put a few fewer sugar plantations and a few more coffee plantations in Costa Rica. We'll put the Panama Canal at the top of the queue. Queue these gold mines down, and then these others will get built in very good time. All right, perfect. We have a shortage of clippers in the American market. Let's get one of our... Hold on. Before I do this, let's check the market. Where's the demand for clippers coming from? Mostly from trade centers. And then a bunch from ports. So first things first. Trade centers. Or we need to be in development. Ports can go to industrial port. Trade centers can go to bulk trading. Right, and trade centers are exporting them. So actually... some of our shipyards should just stay on steam-powered. Let's grab the ones in Virginia and go to reinforced wooden, and then the ones in Maine will go to reinforced wooden as well. And let's see how that looks. All right, patronized realist art is completed. Oh, right, I need to pick techs. I've been neglecting techs. So I'm into the tier 3s for production. Let's snag dynamite. Oh, going directly from that to pump jacks is extremely tempting. Let's do it. From there, I want to snag je ne coal, because that's very close by. In military. And then, do I need anything in society right now? ID documents would be very nice. Corporatism is what's spreading to us right now. But human rights would be nice. So let's add those and we'll go from there. The realist movement. The Arts Academy of American Alaska has become a major center of realist art. Hey, we're calling it Alaska now. Of the realist movement, producing some of the finest works of our generation. Realism depicts the world as it is, warts and all, rather than the world as we might like it to be. It seeks not only to be true to how objects appear to the eye, but also to be true to the everyday experiences of ordinary people. Finally, art we can all relate to, extra Arts Academy throughput. Can we capture reality even more perfectly? Free progress for camera, or the world is grim and mundane. Increased political strength of capitalists. I'm going to go with the free progress for camera. The world is grim and mundane. The industrialists haven't really been participating much in politics. They're going to join the Republicans next time. The trade unions are going to leave. The intelligentsia are too. So it's just going to be the industrialists and the armed forces in there. We'll see what happens. I think there's going to be another party here soon. We'll see how that kind of goes down. All right. This I'm very happy with. I'm very happy with this. And of course, having our own coffee independence is going to be very good for the nation. Not having to buy foreign coffee will be very, very good. We are a little bit short on coal as well. Gosh dang it, I really need to get my investment pool doing its own growing of the economy, but I gotta build a canal. Once I'm done building a canal, I'll be able to stop completely neglecting my finances. Maybe all of this shipbuilding is a mistake. Maybe I'm making mistakes with these shipyards. How is the clipper market? Clipper market is just fine. Alright, so we're producing plenty of clippers to sell overseas. That's good. I'm feeling very good about that. We are producing our own wine. Let's put an import tariff on wine, shall we? Now, we still don't have a source of our own tea, but we have sources for our own sugar. We have mostly sources for our own dyes, but where? Mostly in the south. Okay, so we need to build those up more. And secular mass immigration. Excellent. Lovely. So I'm hoping that as we increase the amount of jobs available in Panama, there's actually a decently sized population here in Panama. You have Central American and North Andean people and Afro-Caribbean people who are all living here, and they're all reasonably well accepted in the country. So we could incorporate Panama, which I'm actually significantly tempted to do. Decisions. Do I hold Panama permanently? I'm gonna do it. Ah, Mexico's going after Los Altos, eh? Well, that's interesting. They certainly would be delighted to have my help. Let me get my armies reincorporated. This is just the whole Marine Corps. Now, the Pacific Fleet have lost their guy. Benedict Jones, let's put him back in charge. Should be fine. And now we're increasing the size of the Atlantic Fleet once again as we get building these new iron frigates. Now, I do also have the capacity to build... Okay, torpedo craft go over there in the third slot. So, increased stowage, I always do this. Increased... The better armor costs so little and seems so good compared with what it could be. Oh, interesting. So these input more explosives, but not as much artillery. Let's do it. Any modifications? Advanced explosives don't the heck mind if I do. Alright. Create template. And for the Atlantic Fleet, let's go ahead and add some heckin' torpedo craft. I'm going to build so many boats, you're going to be blown away. I think once this boat finishes, though, I'm actually going to stop construction of boats because my finances are actually really, really rough right now. Construction output is very high with ironclad production, but it's also very, very expensive to sustain all that. Real shortages of taxation capacity in quite a few different areas. Law enforcement up to 4, very nice. Could improve size of the government. Oh, right, I haven't incorporated Idaho yet. So let's get working on that. Now, do I have a... Right. I can continue to map the western frontier. So how much longer have we got here? I'm at 2 hours, 20 minutes. I think maybe we'll do another mapping expedition at the beginning of the next episode. Infamy is pretty low. Petit bourgeois petition government. Representing his constituents in the Petit Bourgeoisie, the Edwin Colfax has issued a formal petition to the American government to pass censorship. Here, one last matter for the day, sir. Members of your constituency arrived this morning. I'm gonna read this much smarmier. Smarminess activate! One last matter for the day, sir. Members of your constituency arrived this morning. They're asking rather loudly and insistently if you'd meet with them about new legislation. Well, is that it? Goodness, you seem as if you've seen a ghost. I'm sure I could spare the last hours of the light for them, can't I? I believe so, sir. They weren't taking no for an answer. Alright, we'll see what we can do. Offer the migration controls as a compromise, or they must understand their present situation doesn't allow for this. I'm going to offer the migration controls as a compromise. That's going to be a much easier sell for all my other interest groups. Let's go ahead and do that. The only people who are going to be upset are the industrialists, and I don't think I'm going to need to care much about that. My population, has been steadily increasing. All of the territory I've taken in notwithstanding, immigration to the United States is bananas. Ooh, rivalry broken. Someone's fallen in. Oh. Interesting. Hey. Whew. So who fell in rank? Ottoman Empire lost their recognition. Alright, so the Ottoman Empire failed the Tanzimat. That's their big journal entry. Hey, I finished buying Alaska. Everything's coming up USA. So once I've colonized all of this territory, I should just get the whole north of the country. Interestingly, I could begin colonizing the Yukon as well. Is this smarmy? It's smarmy. I'm gonna do it. I bet I could race. But I can't colonize here. Weird. Alright, well maybe that was dumb. Keeping the Mexican out. Excuse me? Mexican? People who are basically almost fully accepted in our country? The effort to institute migration controls has been bolstered by a wave of antipathy towards our neighbors in Mexico, arguing that the forum is necessary to stop migration from there. When you say border control, we all know which border you mean. You don't have to say it. You should say it, though. No shame in admitting who you're trying to keep out. We have nothing to be ashamed of. It's the Quebecois that should be ashamed. I'm just kidding. The actual text is they should be ashamed. Oof, I'm not going to read that first option out loud. 20% enactment success chance, deteriorates relations with Mexico if we throw out some extremely dehumanizing language. Or, this is a general reform which has nothing to do with Mexico, half the immigration, half the enactment success chance, but no decay of relations with Mexico. Now, relations with Mexico at present couldn't be worse, but I think that first option's gross, so we're just going to take the second. Now, how much longer until we have a truce, no longer have a truce with New Grenada? 15 months. Alright, now I was thinking about going after Venezuela. But they're actually, relations are too good. I may have goobered myself over here. Who is this? The Tuileries Charter. Interesting. So if I tried, I could get Venezuela into my power block. But they're doing oligarchy. New Grenada is also kind of not doing great. Alright. I think we're going to try to take protectorates over all of them. So I'm actually going to decay relations just a little bit. And then we'll go from there. Ooh. Ooh, actually, United New York's metalworks production is on the way to producing steel precision tools, which is very, very good. Excellent. Excellent. And how close are we to the Panama Canal? 88 weeks. All right, we're making good progress. Can I start colonizing the Yukon yet? Still no. I don't know why. I don't know why there are no valid colonization targets. I'm adjacent. There's viable territory there, but whatever. It's not like I'm mad about it or anything. Alright, so from here, I do actually want to make some inroads in Eastern Africa because I want to establish a strong Ethiopia. So I did promise myself I was going to stop constructing ships. But actually, I'm going to form a new fleet. I'm going to station them in the Atlantic coast. We're going to name them the... What is the... Indian Ocean. We'll just call them the Oceanic Fleet. We don't want to be giving away our intentions here. Discord within the armed forces. An influential faction within the armed forces has grown frustrated with their co-members' neutrality on the topic of migration controls. Themselves in favor of the law, they've now resolved to form a separate political faction intent on passing it. How can you all stand idly by and watch the world pass before your eyes? Have you no sense of honor, of duty to your fellow man? I say nay to such lack of ambition, and I dare say I am not alone in this. With their support, the bill shall pass. Increased enactment success chance, armed forces slightly weaker, or the yeoman farmers extend an open hand to these mavericks. Not as much enactment success chance, but strengthens the yeoman farmers a lot more and weakens the armed forces more. I'm just going to go with the first one. That puts us at 57% enactment success chance. I'm feeling very confident about that. So, I've pretty much finished my development plan for my Central American territories. My investment pools continue to increase in size, so I think I'm going to let these gold mines finish out, and then I'll be done building more stuff for the moment. There's nowhere else... Okay, there's a few more places where I can build gold mines. In Arizona and then in Alaska. Which I guess I'll do, because I love gold so much. And because gold is good for my economy. Wow, I've got so many loans, it's bananas. So, but this line item here, like 57K from GDP out of 94K from total minting, like that's all of the gold being produced by my gold mines. It's bananas how much gold is being produced by my gold mines, and the more I invest in, the more of it will be produced, and that's just money flowing directly into my government's coffers. So that's why I'm very, very bullish on gold mines. Ew. We're in migration controls and study. Excellent. Do I want to go after Venezuela shortly? Probably yes. Again, they have a defensive pact with Denmark, but I'm not really worried about that. Alaska has quite low construction efficiency, unfortunately, because it's unincorporated. I'm going to incorporate it. I can't incorporate it until it's finished colonizing. Well, that makes sense. It's going to take a long time to incorporate, but that's okay. Yes, haha, yes. I'm a top producer of tools. In order to do this, I'm going to need to take my fleet and get them back projecting power in here. Alright, actually, the global fleet is... I finished with a bunch of my other boats, so the global fleet is actually almost ready to go. I seem to have one extra fleet, one extra ship in one of my fleets. It's like Pacific. Yeah, one extra ironclad. That's okay. So... Oceanic Fleet. We need an Admiral. George Dewey. Ooh. Experienced naval commander, persistent, brave. Heck yeah. Capital ships. I've got Monitor and Early Ironclad. Let's go with... Let's go with 2 ironclads. For cruisers, we'll go with 5 iron frigates. For torpedo craft, we will go with 5. And into the queue. Rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, Edwin Colfax, leader of the petite bourgeoisie, delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of migration controls. Making an appearance before the public in Washington's main square, Edwin Colfax's powerful rhetoric left even his most embittered political opponents impressed. Excerpts from the speech are already being circulated across the United States of America, fanning the fires of an already roaring debate. This should ease the path to reform greatly, extra enactment success chance. Or performances like this reflect well on Edwin Colfax and his cause. Not as much enactment success chance, but he gets some popularity and the petite bourgeoisie gets stronger. I'm going to do the second one. We'll see what comes of that. Where are the petite bourgeoisie in my politics? They're in with the Democratic Party. Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a party rebalancing during the next election, which is in 68, I believe. Yes indeed, 68. Mexico is embargoing us. Fine. Go ahead and embargo me. See if I care. Now, I could... Oh, Spain has an alliance with the Brits. Well, that's unfortunate, because I would love to be able to take Cuba and their other holdings away from them, but I can't do that if they got an alliance with the British. Alright, Venezuela, I no longer need to be damaging relations with you. Let me just let the week turn over. Alright. Alright, migration controls is in voting. And my involvement in Gran Colombia should be going up. Yes, alright. So now I just need to wait for my involvement to go up. Oh my, Sweden's in the British Empire. That's concerning. Repeaters unlocked. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Institutional. Level 5 law enforcement. Austria sides of the Papal States. Oh, Italy's exploding. Italy's exploding. It's a general European war. Okay, so we have Austria. Okay, hold on. On one side, we have Tuscany and the Ottoman Empire. Against on the other side, the Papal States, Austria, Hungary, and Sardinia-Piedmont. So that's interesting. And I do have the ability to support here. I do have the ability to intervene. Would I be able to get anything useful if I did, though? I don't think so. And so, I will simply hang tight and watch as the Europeans shoot at each other. I've got shooting to do over where I am. Great Britain sides with the Papal States. Alright, now I'm definitely not going to be involved. Let me see. Where's Gran Colombia here? Alright, I am going to get up above. So I get 10% extra infamy cost for targeting war goals in the strategic region. If I wait for a little bit longer, I can get up to influential, and then I won't have that cost. Alright, so now we've got migration controls. The petite bourgeoisie should be happy. Still building a lot of mines. 47 weeks until the Panama Canal is finished. What is the baseline level of turmoil in Panama? It's not that high. Plenty of peasants in the country still. And Costa Rica is doing a lot better. Their GDP is continuing to increase substantially, which I'm very, very pleased about. They're even instituting a police force. Lovely. I did it. And I helped. Do I have a front here with San Salvador? I don't. Alright. And I am going to go after New Grenada, but not quite yet, because again, I just want to get my interest here up to influential. Oh, interesting. So if I got hegemonic interest here, I have reduced decree cost and reduced infamy, which I have in Great Plains, Atlantic Coast, and I'm working on having it for Pacific Coast. Interesting. So as you can see here, as we increase the size of these gold mines, I'm just, like, this is actually just flatly reducing the amount of my money that I'm spending on. It's just increasing my income directly. So that's part of why I'm doing this. The Panama Canal also, if I found a Panama Canal company, will increase my income. I might disband William Cramp and Sons, because I don't think they're very good. They don't have company monopolies. Ship armor and hull attack damage seems very weak overall. North German mass immigration. Excellent. How is the naval construction queue doing? It's doing pretty well. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, what we're going to do with the oceanic fleet is we're going to take... Who are you? Who are you and what is your job? Okay, you're the torpedo craft that's going to go into the oceanic fleet. Alright, so... Or the Atlantic fleet, rather. And so are you. So what I'm going to do with the oceanic fleet is I'm going to build a small amount of... I'm going to build a small additional corps of Marines, and we're going to put them into taking over countries in Ethiopia. Probably Walega. We're going to try to get Walega, because it looks like Walega is going to have control of all of Ethiopia eventually. And that'll allow us to do... Beautiful. So that gets us all of Alaska. Oh, and the Hudson's Bay Company finished out Yukon Territory. Well, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not salty. I'm not mad. I'm a little bit mad. Just a little bit, though. Hardwood's still pretty expensive. Steel is still pretty expensive. Coal is still pretty expensive. There is coal production capacity in Alaska. Now I can hit that incorporate button. It's going to take forever, but it's going to be worth it. Ooh, dynamite. Wonderful. Explosive shells in the munitions plants. Don't mind if I do. Vacuum evap in the explosives factories. Don't mind if I do. And last but not least, more stable explosives for the mines. Do not mind if I do at all. Be pretty mad if I didn't, in fact. How close are we to finishing our Panama Canal? 16 weeks. Lovely. Lovely. And then finally I'll stop constructing stuff, and then I'll let the investment pool take the rest of the construction. You know, I think this amount of unrealized taxes is not actually that much. I think I may have been a little bit too aggressive about building more governance capacity. I really don't need the bureaucracy. Exploding demand. Oh, North Caucasian immigration. The development of more stable explosives has led to an uptick in demand for explosive materials. Our military and industrial sectors have entered a bidding war to secure shares of our production. Civilian applications. Really? What What does a civilian firm want with 2,000 tons of dynamite? The quartermaster general paced back and forth, clutching the dossier to his chest. If I had 2,000 tons of dynamite, I could equip an artillery corps for the year. I could fill warehouses with shells. It is regrettable, said the clerk, cautiously testing each word. A bidding frenzy has erupted over the material. Our current budget would buy us a fraction of what it should. Not ideal, thought the quartermaster general, but survivable. Place the order and tell me the figure. I will petition the cabinet for twice as much. Increasing supply will lift all boats, extra explosives factory throughput. The industrial sector will make the best use of it, extra mines throughput. Or the military must have their cut, extra munitions plants throughput. I'm just going to get the mines. I think mines are better. That's more gold for me. France would like a deal. A defensive pact. Did we not have a defensive pact before? I guess we didn't. And you want to transfer some fine art to our market. I accept. Lovely. That's going to make our American-French association happy as well. Yeah, I hope that's made them happy. I hope you're happy. How are fleets doing? Fleets seem... Okay, I think this fleet is another... supposed to be in the Atlantic Fleet one. Speaking of the Atlantic Fleet, Mr. Farragut, you need to be promoted to Vice Admiral. North German mass migration to Louisiana. Excellent. Very good. So as you can see, our cash flow situation is improving really significantly. We're almost done with the Panama Canal. And I think it's time to disband William Cramp and Sons. Oh no, they're our trade company. They're our trade company. So I need to get myself actually, I need to get myself mutual funds. Shouldn't I have more company charters? Don't I get a free company charter for laissez-faire? 2 free company charters. Why can't I... Have I been able to found a company this whole time? And I just haven't? Cannot establish additional companies. I get 2 from that. Don't I get 1 from joint stock? Yeah, plus 1 max. Oh, I get free charters, not extra max companies. That's where I'm making my mistake. I get 2 free charters from this, not max companies. Alright, so actually, tech, I need mutual funds and investment banks. That's rough. Interesting. Not sure what that is, but I don't think I need to care about it too much. Ooh, more gold in Alaska? Don't mind if I do. We'll just queue in 1 more gold mine then. So now I should have the ability eventually to form myself a I need my canal company. Where are they? My Panama Canal Company. Right. So these just provide a flat, huge increase to tax income. Now I... No. All right. So I need to rework my tech needs right now. So I think I'm going to hold off on pump jacks and start making a mad dash to investment banks, so that I can get my extra company, because that's what's going to get me my canal company, and that is going to make my my cash flow much better. Because right now my cash flow could definitely be better. I'm going to take this fleet, my oceanic fleet, and I'm going to send it over to the Horn of Africa. And that's where they're going to project power, and that's going to give me a little bit of interest in that area. And what that's going to do for me is it is going to allow me to do naval invasions and whatnot and take over countries over there. Ooh, I've actually got a little bit of authority to play with. I think I can cancel my suppression decree here. And there's construct the Panama Canal completed. So now, I can save a little cash on the government bureaucrats, and I can throw in a consumption tax. Let's do one on porcelain and another on coffee. And finally, we are in the black cash flow-wise once again after a long time being in the red. I am going to build up a few more government sectors before I halt construction. For a time. Ooh, and I can build the Statue of Liberty. Wonderful. I just said I was going to stop construction. We're going to build that. And then government sectors, where are we short on tax capacity? Minnesota, I need 4 sectors. Iowa, I need 4 sectors. Wisconsin, I need 2. Ohio, I need 1. Okay, come back here. Ohio, I need actually 2. And then I need 1 in New York, 1 in Illinois, 1 in Pennsylvania. And that should be just fine. Those will all get built really, really fast. In fact, I'm going to throw the Statue of Liberty at the top of the queue. But because I'm in negative construction, negative government admin, I'm going to put one of these government admins way at the top, just to get that done so that I don't end up in a situation. I am loving this number. This number is making me very, very happy. Especially because I'm still expanding my gold mines. Because I'm making all sorts of noises, my friends. So I could go to ideological truth too. This is extra party whip impact on ideological coherence. I think that's pretty good. On the other hand, I could go for creative legislature. Creative legislature 1 gives you reduced enactment stall chance. I think that's the right call. Let's do it. This is going to help our partners, our strategic partners, when the time comes, to establish their governments more appropriately. So, we're in an election cycle now. The Republican Party consists of the industrialists and the armed forces. The Democratic Party is still that same bloc as they were before. The Southern planters, the petite bourgeoisie, and the evangelicals. Where am I? We're almost at 3 hours. Okay. The levies. Joshua Norton has made overtures to the yeoman farmers for electoral support for the Democratic Party. Alexander Huddy has at least acknowledged the talks. Appeals for natural allies make for a gamble on long odds. Receptive ears to natural allies are often already of like mind. Those who aren't of like mind would politely continue on their own way. Impolitely, they may laugh, scoff, or if they're truly devious, turn the gambler into their own useful idiot. So it looks like the Democratic Party has significant momentum advantage over the Republicans, but they're also going to win on total votes. So I think it'll be fine. Old minds think alike, extra momentum for them. Grass tends to grow as it pleases. Not as much momentum for the Democrats, but extra political strength for aristocrats and political strength for the votes for farmers. I'm just going to pick the first one. Momentum is fine. We'll probably go through the end of the election cycle and then finish out. I do have 0 infamy right now, though, so it's a good time for me to declare my war on Venezuela. 14.6 infamy. Brazil is likely to try to stop me. Brazil is likely to try to stop me. What's Brazil's army look like? I can take it. Let's do it. Beautiful. I'm going to fully mobilize. I don't want to take any chances on this. we'll see who else gets involved. Can I add a CB to ban slavery over there? No, I can't. You have to start by trying to ban slavery. That's the only way you can ban slavery. Alright. I don't think I want to steal any territory. Oh, they're holding a tiny amount of the West Indies. Yeah. Do I? No, that's not reasonable. Terms conditions started. Okay. Now I have a couple countries I could sway. Straight out the gate. Could bring in Great Britain. I don't want to transfer anything to them, but I could give them an obligation. And I could bring in Mexico, except I can't because they're too hostile towards me. So that's fine. So we'll see what other people say. The popularity contest. The eyes of the electorate have turned to the candidates that seek to acquire a position at the head of the government. As the electorate approaches, voters debate who would provide the best leadership for the United States of America. I quite like Dornblazer, mused one of the men at the bar. I couldn't say what it is I agree with him on, but I think he has a good head on his shoulders. His neighbor spoke up. I have to look past the company he keeps? Well, why not? God knows he could say the same of any of us. Nobody is better to handle a fool than his friend. Asa Dornblazer is the man of the hour, extra momentum for the Republicans, and more popularity for him. Or a term of Edwin Colfax is what the country needs, extra momentum for the Democrats, and increased popularity for him. I'm going to pick the second one. Edwin Colfax it is. Looks like nobody is joining up right now. The Brazilians look like they want to, but I think they're afeared, and I'm happy with that. Increased tier for Argentina. That's interesting. I often have a hard time figuring... Oh, no, this is Argentina's tier is increased for an area that I care about. That's what's going on. Alright. I've generated myself some infamy. So New Grenada we're still improving relations with. Costa Rica, we're cordial, that'll be fine. Fruitful endorsements. In a gesture of solidarity with the Democratic Party, Oscar Pyle has encouraged his supporters to vote for it in the ongoing election. For the interest of all principled people, the Democratic Party has a consistent record of excellence. I cannot speak higher of those brave men and women moving the United States of America forward under their name. He has our thanks, certainly, extra momentum for them, or this endorsement would best be more specific. Some momentum for the Democratic Party as a whole, but the petite bourgeoisie becomes significantly stronger. I'm actually going to pick the second one, because I don't want the Southern planters to become too strong. And that's going to happen if they get all the endorsements they could ever want. All right, I'm going to halt naval construction. That's made my finances much better. Now, how am I for... Okay, I need a significant expansion in naval administration, I just realized. Ah. I should have figured this out sooner. That's okay. That's okay. I can handle this real easy. 2, 4, 6. We'll do 5 in Delaware. Bring Maryland up to 3. We'll do 5 in D.C. We'll bring Virginia up to 5. Up to 5. It's going to be 5. I just misclicked. Alright, it's fine. We're working on it right now. And there's corporatism. Interesting. I still haven't gotten to try out social monarchy. I'm hoping maybe I can get there with Emperor Norton if he's down for that. Which I hope he is, because it would be cool and fun if he was. Alright, so now let's go ahead and invade. I think Zulia is the capital. I'll just send the Marine Corps. It says one day. I guess that's not right. I think Zulia is the capital. It's not. Well, that's okay. Better to have one front than two. Nobody stepped in. My munitions plants are doing their best. Or are they? Let's take a look and find out. I never normalized production methods. Gosh dang it. I'm so freaking dumb. Nope, they're not. They're still hiring. That's okay. Alright, before I forget to do this again, reset production methods in Panama, please. Pressing issues. The ongoing election has drawn attention to the platforms of the various contending parties. Across the United States of America, the electorate debates which party is worth trusting with the next term in government. The first thing I take into account is the safety of my investments. If a party would represent chaos, I may safely discount it. The stockbroker tapped his cigar in the rim of the ashtray and continued. The journalist took notes as he spoke. How will the incoming government's tariff policy affect my needed imports? Do they wish to impose taxes which may spur uncertainty? Do they wish to embark upon military adventures? Would these adventures be profitable or would they be ruinous? There is much to consider. The Democratic Party makes decisive arguments, extra momentum for them, or the electorate trusts the Republican Party, extra momentum for them. I'm going to go with the Democrats at present. As you can see, they're going to get 90% of the vote, and that's going to give us a righteous government, and that's going to give us a lot of loyalists, and that's what I like. As we head into war with Venezuela, it's good to have a lot of loyalists. So, still have a lot of cash in the investment pool. I could probably stand to increase the size of the construction sector by a little bit, now that I'm not currently producing more ships. Although, I think it might be unwise to cease producing more ships. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll continue to load up the oceanic fleet. Yeah, I think I will, actually. Resume ship construction. The oceanic fleet will put in 2 more early ironclads. We'll do 5 more each. Iron frigates and torpedo cruisers. And then maybe we'll do 1 more early ironclad. In fact, actually, I want this early ironclad at the head of these torpedo boats. I've decided. Yeah, that's what I want. That's how I want it done. Alright, force comparison here in the Zulia landing seems pretty good, so I'm not super concerned. Precision tools should be really good. Oh wow, we actually have a shortage of hardwood, which is shocking. There's our election. So, before I do anything, let's get a little bit of focused hardwood production in some of these, we'll do the ones in Indiana. I'll set to that. That should solve the hardwood problem for now. Now, do I need to change up the government? I don't think so. I could bring in the Republican Party, but I don't think I will. Evangelicals are going to trade off for the armed forces next election cycle. That's fine. Intelligentsia have become disinvolved in American party politics, which is also completely fine with me. I see. So this is okay. So my investment pool has started to really build up. All right. So I think I'm just going to build a few more construction sectors. Actually, got quite a few all across the west, or all across the eastern part of the country. So we'll just build a few in various areas, just to build up construction capacity. And I think I'll throw these at the top of the queue for now. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue at all getting those built. But of course, now I'm short a little bit of government bureaucracy, so we'll queue that into the top as well as we finish out our other stuff. We have landed in Zulia. Miranda is the capital. We're pushing forward there with the Marine Corps with no problems whatsoever. Let's take the Atlantic Fleet and bring them back to New York. I have a hard time seeing why the Oceanic Fleet... Okay, now it's up to 16 ships. All right, so now it's properly reassessed itself and sorted itself out. So that's good. And do we have the sufficient naval administration to get this fleet fully staffed yet? It's looking like we're getting there. And what about the Pacific Fleet? They're fine. All right, perfect. All right, so I beefed it with my naval administration. I need to remember to keep up to date on naval administration. That's what I need to be doing. That said, all right, we've got a hold of Miranda now, so it shouldn't be long before I can take Venezuela as a protectorate, and that will be nice. Interest here for Persia decreased. That's a shame. Or no, again, that's not me. That's other. Maybe it is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're just fine. Venezuela, be my protectorate. They don't want to yet. It's okay. Only a few more weeks. Only a few more weeks. It'll be fine. It'll be so fine. It'll be so fine. It's bananas. So interestingly, the French and the Dutch have really made inroads in Western Africa, and the British haven't, which is quite curious. I'm not sure what to make of that, but we'll see. We'll see what goes down over there. All right, this should be enough now. Perfect. Perfect. Now, the Marine Corps on their way back, aren't they? Please transfer the fleet. All right, they're going. They're going. Perfect. All right. Now, I think the Oceanic Fleet we're going to take out to project power in the Horn of Africa. And the new ships that we produce should go to that fleet on their own. They shouldn't have any trouble getting there, but if they do, it's probably fine. Now, I think I should do a little research and figure out what the best ships are for escorting, and I should build a fleet that's mostly troop ships to do transport so that I can use my main fleets for escorting and such like as that. Let's go ahead and increase relations with Venezuela. Now, I am going to go after New Grenada as well. Venezuela is going down in Liberty Desire, which is very good. They're currently defiant, but will not remain so for very long. And I should be getting more power block increase now. Yes, because I have 2 minor power members. Those are probably Costa Rica. Nope. Venezuela, which is a minor power. Who else? Liberia is a minor. Excellent. Unrecognized regional power, but I think that still counts as a minor power, right? No, they're an unrecognized regional power. Oh, IT. IT is a minor power. No, they're insignificant. Weird. I don't know what to make of that. That screen should show the ranking in terms of prestige, but it is what it is. Now, if I made a protectorate of Mexico, 70. All right, still not going to do that. That's still too extreme. 2 more weeks till the Statue of Liberty, which is nice. And then we'll finish out the gold mines, and then we'll be good to go. Oh my gosh, we're finally being good to go. I'm going to be so good, and I'm going to be going. And then I'm going to be, by going, I mean finishing the episode. All right, East Africa interest tier increased. That's very good. Oh, Gale National Awakening. Excellent. So how do I want to do this? I think... Oh, curious. I wonder if the answer is I annex Begender. They're in the East Africa state region. Wait, hold on. Yes, this is East Africa. My East Africa... I'm observant right now. I'm going to get to 2617, which is actually influential, but it's going to take some time, 21 weeks. If I can annex Begender, then I can take Ethiopia as a protectorate, then I can simply transfer all of Begender to them and start eating these other states. I won't be able to colonize Kenya. New Grenada has expelled our diplomats. Well, this sounds like somebody needs to be a protectorate. But we'll get to that next episode. Because I want to finish out with all this stuff. Investment pool is still increasing in size. Let's go ahead and increase the size of the construction sector. I think I want to build up Texas, Louisiana, California, Oregon. That should be fine. Come on. I really want to get to the bottom of this queue and then just see where my finances are at. I'm almost done constructing the ships that I need for the Oceanic Fleet. Now I've got a fourth fleet that's on their way to the Oceanic Fleet, and they're actually moving quite fast, which is good for me. You're projecting power, which is what you need to be doing. Ibibio mass immigration. Cool. From Guinea. Well, from French-held Guinea, but still Guinea. And North German mass immigration. Wonderful. And how are we with naval... Ooh, floating harbor for mass-scale trading. That's very, very good. Let's actually go ahead and enable that before I forget. Alright, beautiful. In a couple more weeks on these ships. Positive 63k. So now, just one more week here. I think I'll let this early ironclad be mothballed for a moment. So now, I'm 150k in the black. I just got mutual funds, so that's good. With 28 mil in debt. I'm recovering 6 mil of debt per week. So 28 mil in debt, that's still going to be a lot of years. But that's okay. I can work with that. I can make that happen. So let's see where we are. It's 1870. I'm not as far ahead in the tech tree as I would like to be. I just got mutual funds and I'm hurtling towards investment banks. That's going to help me with my canal company. I've expanded a little bit into Central America, but not as far as would be ideal. I've been stopped up by the British over here, but I am also expanding into South America, so that's good. And I'm working on a plan to expand into Africa, which is going to be very good for me. Economy-wise, I'm still at number 4 in terms of total GDP, but I'm hurtling towards eclipsing Britain and their Dominion of India. After that, China is still very far ahead, but that is what it is. Standard of living, I'm doing just fine. Population, I've been steadily increasing, and I'm close to 50 million. How close am I to populating the American West? I'm almost finished. Actually, our target population's higher because we incorporated Idaho, or possibly it's that we got Alaska. But in any case, we're definitely going to get there sooner rather than later. Number of loyalists is very good. Number of radicals is reasonable. Cash flow is doing okay, although I'm not currently producing anything, so that is what it is. Total fleets, we've got 3 fleets rolling. I'm feeling pretty good about that overall. I want to balance out the Pacific Fleet's numbers eventually, but we'll see about that. Literacy, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. It could be better, but literacy is very wealth dependent for us because we've got a fully private, or no, we got public schools. So what? Oh, it's child labor allowed that we need to dispense with, but we're not going to get that. We're not going to be able to deal with that until we've got human rights. 6 times 28 is about is just a little bit less than 6 times 30, which is 180. So that's the number of weeks. It'll be about 3.5 years of not spending to completely clear away my national debt. Why is it important to clear away my national debt? Because if I have an unexpected large expense, like, say, having to fight a large-scale defensive war, I need to be ready to do that. And holding 28 million in debt, not a great way to be ready to do that. Again, governments going bankrupt, that's how countries fall apart. So that's why I'm doing this way. In terms of subjects, I've got the Indian Territory. They're doing... They could be doing better, but their standard of living is pretty good. Yeah, their population is pretty well gainfully employed. They got logging. They've got some paper manufacturing. Yeah, they're doing pretty well, all things considered. Costa Rica's GDP is continuing to spike higher and higher as we go along. Population is rock solid now, so they're no longer in a sort of population crunch, which is where they were. We've got our Panama Canal built. We just need to establish ourselves a canal company, and we've got a hold of Venezuela, which is going to pay dividends long term in a very significant way. Last thing before we clear out of here, I'm going to make them go to census suffrage. And if they're not willing to, well then, my goodness, we'll just have to discuss that again later. Alright, my nerds, it has been just over 3 hours. I think that's a pretty good healthy episode for this week. So I'll see you again in 6 days. For now, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.